This podcast is brought to you by the Arte Media Pantheon. Please head to artemedia.org to see all kinds of podcasts from our great friends. And if you would like to start your own podcast, they can provide you with the tools and resources to do so there. So please head to artemedia.org. That's A-R-E-T-E media.org. That's right. Nailed the intro. I always 100% of the time nail the intro on the first time.
On Audible.
As far as Audible and Spotify is concerned, I nail the intro on the first time every time. Anyway, welcome to the Spurr the One podcast, everybody. I said the very first.
I meant Spotify.
What
I said Audible, but I meant Spotify.
We're not on Audible yet. I can't figure out how to. I don't think I can get on Audible as a Canadian. Anyway, I'm your host, Justin Spurr. As always, I'm joined by the incomparable Jordan. How's the incomparable Jordan doing? That wasn't English.
I'm pretty incomparable. I'm without compare.
He's without comparison. On today's show, we have. Will there maybe be a Mace Windu show or movie or thing? Maybe. Where's Shadow the Hedgehog gonna show up next? Like, where's Waldo? Hey, remember that Alec Baldwin movie? They're apparently still making that. I meant to watch the trailer. I didn't. What's M. Night Shyamalan's next movie going to be? Apparently, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is going to be making a movie with Martin Scorsese. I'll watch it. Is Deadpool going to be in Avengers? What did Tim Blake Nelson look like originally? And before they did all those reshoots? The rules for Minecraft movie, the Split Fiction movie, Predator Badlands. There's so much news. And then later on, it's talking animal movies. We're going to be talking about some talking animal movies. Mostly okay.
Because all animals are created equal. But some animals are more equal than others.
Jake will probably be like, fuck that communist pig. Before we hop into today's show, though, I'm stalling because I'm trying to pull it up.
He's stalling because he's trying to pull it up.
I think this is the one.
What are you stalling for, Justin?
I'm stalling to find a comment I wanted to read.
He's stalling to find the comment he wants to read. Yeah. And how much longer is that going to take, Justin?
One only knows. Give me a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to remember which video it was.
Give him a minute, because one only knows.
No.
I'm trying here, Justin. George, I'm really trying. You're making this difficult.
Vamp for a moment. Vamp for a moment.
Not all animal movies are made equal?
Play me off, Johnny.
I
should have had this prepared. This is not very professional. Oh, there it was. I found it. Okay. Sorry. Let's redo this. Okay. It's time for a little comment response time, Jordan. I find that quite often we're responding to the negative ones, or we're making fun of the negative ones, or we're making fun of the troll ones. And Jordan, I feel like we don't shout out enough of the genuinely nice ones. So, from at Lion of the Chain, excellent name. I like the effort and can see you guys have passion. Love the heart. The way you outroed at the end was nice as well. Keep on it. I think he means improving, but I'm pretty sure he spelled improving. But we will do both.
We'll do both. Which episode was that from?
That was from the Stoner episode. Well, that was from that was a comment left on the Harold and Kumar video. Harold and Kumar, slightly outdated. I don't know if it been a question mark on it. That was a comment left on that video. Thank you for the kind comment. We appreciate it. We appreciate the nice ones. We try to get slightly marginally better every week. Only slightly.
We can't be too good, or people would hold us to a higher standard.
Yeah, we can't have them hold us to a much higher standard. That
we have to. We want to be kept at the low bar, so then when those times when we do step over it, people are like, "Wow, they've really gone above and beyond with this one."
Right, like when we get a I don't know, quasi semi-famous local celebrity that only we've heard of, then we will have accomplished something.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Let's jump right into the news. That is a reference nobody.
Ooh, that peaked, I'm guessing, the mic, because I didn't hear it. And if I didn't hear it... Also, I never tested the sound levels.
We should test the sound.
Just say.
And let's jump.
Yep. No, we're good.
We've
We're
been
good.
doing a solid 5 minutes of podcast that theoretically no one would have heard if that hadn't worked. Anyway, Jordan, apparently Sydney Sweeney is making a movie based on the popular video game Split Fiction, which I have not played, but I've seen clips
So
of, and the story
so
looks fun.
real quick, who's Sydney Sweeney?
She's the pretty girl from the show that the show about drugs that what's her face does. She was in Madam Web. She was one of the Madam Web girls.
Oh, okay.
She's from Euphoria. That show that I forget
Uh,
that
uh,
other chick.
all right. As for Split Fiction, I don't think I've ever played that because you need two people to play that one. I think.
I believe it's a two-person. I don't know if there's a single player. I don't know much about it. I've just seen clips from the story mode, and that's about it. And it looks fun. It's like they both get trapped in like different dimensions based on like fiction that they wrote. I think is the idea of it. And I think I think it just translates to like one player stuck in one screen and the other player stuck. I don't know. I've never really. Again, I've only seen clips of it, and the story looks.
I
fun.
recognize the name, but I've never really looked into it.
Yeah, no, I was like, yeah, all right. So Jordan, did you see that? Did you see that picture of what the leader looked like originally?
Yeah, I can see why they changed it. He looked a little too much cancer survivor.
Yeah, no, he's given jaundice is what he's given.
Yeah.
And it looks like he had a little too much radiation. I understand why they went that direction, but he really does I have a brain tumor.
Yeah, I can see why they changed it.
I
Is more the
can.
point.
It's really upsetting looking. I mean, to be fair, I think the design they wound up with is worse, but still, it's like upsetting in a weird way. I don't know. I don't like it.
It's upsetting in a he looks like a very sick man, but like a realistically sick man.
Right?
It invokes memories of family members that make me sad.
Right.
Is why I don't like that one. Whereas like him looking patchy and gross, I've never seen anyone that looks like that. Doesn't make me think of anything I know personally. So I'm okay with the other one.
So apparently, Jordan, you'll be happy. It does not say which movie theater it is, but apparently movie theaters are cracking down. No more chicken jockey.
I mean, I don't mind when they yell like when there's some cheering and stuff, but what we went through, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
It's the adults and the teenagers who are like
if you
being a general nuisance.
They're like, if you chicken jockey, you'll be banned for life. Which is, I'm just telling you, just so you know, an entirely empty threat. There's no way. There's no way to enforce that. I mean, you could maybe if enough managers paid attention, but you're always gonna get the one manager who just doesn't care, who will let them in. Like lifetime movie theater bans are impossible to enforce and not legally binding.
I mean, they are legally binding if the theater staff holds them to the accountability of it. It's private property. They can very much be like, you can't come on private property. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is the individual enforcers who will not, because they're paid minimum wage and not paid enough to care.
They're gonna be like, oh, they said the chicken jockey thing. Who cares? Like
yes, the company can hold that standard, but they then have to somehow encourage the staff and managers to hold the same level of accountability, which will just never happen.
I'm sure you'll get like a really ambitious manager who probably will attempt to enforce it for a little bit, but it won't last long. Those signs are more meant to be scary, to scare you.
I mean.
As it is.
And I mean, it's not gonna stop you from going to one like in the next city over, anyways. Like, even if that one theater gave you a hard time for a while, like if the one in my home city gave me trouble for a while, I could just go to the one in like the next city.
Right? Exactly. Until they forgot, which they would inevitably forget.
Yeah.
It's not like they're hanging a poster in the office with a wall of shame, as much as I suggested it. No one went for it. Apparently we weren't allowed to do that, especially when they were minors. I was also a minor when I suggested it. I should be clear. I was 16. I thought it was a good idea. It's not.
I mean,
it's not a good idea.
No, it's an unachievable idea, whether it's a good or bad one.
Unobtainable.
Yeah. Um,
Jordan, here's the question, Jordan. Ryan Reynolds asked, will Deadpool be in Avengers Doomsday? It's time for, say it with me now, Jordan. Superhero interview. You're not saying it with me. Superhero interview.
superhero interview, yes or no
Answer.
question
Answer.
bonanza.
Answer roulette. You failed. You failed. You had one job, and it was to match what I was saying. We've done this is now like the third time we've done this bit. You should have known. You should have known.
Mine was better.
You should have known, Jordan. It's superhero answer interview roulette. Jordan.
Maybe you misunderstand, or you don't quite understand how last week I am, Justin.
Jordan. Will Deadpool be in Avengers Doomsday?
Probably.
Jordan.
Oh, you want me to say what he said though?
Yes.
Well, one can never really say yes or no for sure because they always have to say that because they can't straight out confirm anything. So it's some variation of, I can't really say, but it would be cool, wouldn't it?
Wow. You're very wrong. You're so wrong. He said, I do think so.
That's not so wrong. He didn't say, yes, I'm going to. That's still just another variation of, I can't say yes or no
I
for
do
sure.
think so. It's fairly committal, Jordan. It's fairly committal.
No, it's not.
It's reason. It's
It's
reason.
not
It's more committal than your non-committal, Drivel.
It's not a hard yes.
It's not a hard no.
Well, then none of them ever are.
He totally
They're always
is.
they're always a tacit maybe.
It's gonna be. They're gonna do like a. It's not actually. They're gonna do like it's pirate Deadpool. Like when they do a montage of weird alternate universes, you're gonna get like pirate Deadpool, so he doesn't have to. They'll have to commit to like a Deadpool canon. Guarantee you.
No,
Not
no,
necessarily.
Justin.
Not necessarily
What?
pirate Deadpool, but you get my point.
No. If they really wanted to commit to him without having to without him having to put the suit on, no. What they'll do is they'll just open to a universe, and it'll be him filming Deadpool 3, and it'll be a big joke about how
That would be funny.
They're making the next Deadpool, not 3, 4. They're making the next Deadpool, and then they never make it.
That would be funny if it just cut to he's just Ryan Reynolds sitting in an office reading a script for Deadpool 4 or writing a script for Deadpool 4, I suppose.
Yeah, or even if it was him sitting in the office as it cuts to that scene where he's sitting in the office and they're pitching the scene to him.
It's funny. Okay. It's funny because doing this, I didn't include this story because so many people went for it, and I knew it was fake because I do this, and it's one of those times where because I do this weekly, I've now become attuned to this. But there's so many stories about how Ryan Reynolds is currently writing the next Deadpool movie, and no, he's not. That's not what he said. What he said is, I'm currently writing my next ensemble movie, which, because we do this, we know it's that boy band musical movie, or that boy band movie he's doing, that's being directed
with
Hugh Jackman.
With Hugh Jackman.
That's what he's currently writing. It's not Deadpool. It's not Deadpool. He's not writing Deadpool. He said he's not going to write Deadpool 4. He said Deadpool, if he appears again, will appear as a secondary character in someone else's thing. And that's totally fine. He's right. That's the acceptable amount of Deadpool from this point. But yeah, it's just funny. It was just funny. It was one of those times where I was like, yeah, no, this is fake. I know this is fake. This is fake news. I can say that. Because, not that I consider myself a news person, but, I do, a modicum of research for this show. By that, I mean I pull up one article and I fact-check it if it seems unbelievable.
I understand.
Anyway.
I understand, and the important thing is that Deadpool will probably be in Secret Wars in the background in a non-speaking role.
Probably.
Might not even be Ryan Reynolds in the suit.
Right? So, Jordan, did you know that they released a new Hunger Games book?
Yes, I think I know that.
That is about the young Haymitch Abernathy, the fucking.
Didn't you and Allie talk about that when you
Yes.
watched the movie version of it?
Yes. Who is he played by in the movie? Please.
Oh.
Damn it, doesn't say. Oh, it's gonna bug me now. I'm gonna have to Google this. We're Googling it.
He's Googling it. He's looking it up. He's informing himself of what the actual thing is.
I am.
He's trying to stay relevant in a modern world where nothing stays relevant for long. The audience is
Woody
already
Harrelson.
growing bored.
Woody
There we
Harrelson.
go.
Oh, that's gonna bug me. Woody Harrelson plays him in the movie. So, Jordan, the story is they have cast him, who's going to be playing him in the movie adaptation that they are making of that book.
Is it not Woody Harrelson?
No, because he's like when he's Katniss's age.
Oh, I see. I understand. I get what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that it's the Hunger Games, and I don't really care.
I mean, Jordan, you don't know who either of these people are, but they're making that movie, and I am actually kind of interested in
Well,
that
I know,
movie.
I know who Woody Harrelson is. He's
Yeah,
the
but-
dude from Zombieland.
No, you don't know the people who are going to be playing young Hamish Abernathy for this new.
I mean, no, I didn't even know who the characters were, let alone the actors that are playing them. So
He's Katniss's like mentor figure or whatever, who's all like, "I won before and I'm traumatized and whatnot." This is
the 79th annual bullshit games.
yeah. He's the
God.
he's the yeah. So this one is about how he became Hunger Games.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah. How he won.
It doesn't really mean much to me, but yeah, I understand. I mean, I have seen, I think, the first 3 Hunger Game movies. I just didn't really like them.
No, I mean I like the first 2. I don't think I've ever seen the 4th one, and I cannot recall the 3rd one. I know I've seen it, I just don't remember it. But I quite like the second one.
I know I've seen the first one, and I know I've seen the 79th annual bullshit games.
Yeah, that was the funniest part about that was when we watched that, and you went more like and you just said it completely organically.
Well, I mean, it kind of defeats the entire purpose of the Hunger Games. When you won them, you're supposed to be free forever from having to do them ever again. So that to then have them all come back and have to do it again, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be like, well, what was the point of me winning the first time?
Interesting.
Sorry, that was.
That's hilarious. Okay,
I needed to get that off my chest.
Jordan, we've talked about this before when Ali was here about they'd be making Passion of the Christ 2. And
yes, I do recall that.
Jim Caviezel is back, and he's saying there's a whole different mindset on this one because this is about the time he came back. Apparently, this one is in fact not in Aramaic; it's in English. Apparently, and that was of a concern to Jim Caviezel.
And not torture porn.
Well, presuming that he's already dead in this one, and this is about him coming back, I assume it will be a much more uplifting film. Does it end with him being like, "Bye, everybody. I'll see you later."
Ascending to heaven. Oh.
I'll see you all later. I'll be back.
Yeah,
though.
I mean,
I promise.
It's all
wink.
It's all make believe, anyways. He can do whatever he wants.
Ooh, you're gonna get yourself canceled. Canceled.
Why? I mean, it's a movie.
Oh!
Don't
I
make
see.
believe.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're winky face. Winky face. It's all a movie.
It's all a movie. It's not the actual story. You know,
I've never seen the first
it's
one.
It's just this guy's interpretation of the story that's definitely real.
This guy being Mel Gibson.
Yeah. That's what I said. This guy. What?
Random. So okay. I don't know if you'll know. You know the name Nicholas Sparks?
I recognize the name, but I can't put it to anything.
He does like the one movie that's coming to me right now is like Dear John. He does a really sappy romance novels. Like I think he did The Notebook as well. Like it's the ones that are really sad and they're about a couple who falls in love or whatever.
Okay. Go on.
He's teaming up with M. Night Shyamalan. Has announced his new movie. Nicholas Sparks is going to write a supernatural thriller novel that M. Night Shyamalan will then adapt into a movie. And they're collaborating on this. Which is just like really random. If you're familiar with Nicholas Sparks. I've never watched his movies or his movies based on his books or read his books because I don't do sappy romance. But yeah.
What? You don't like yourself some good smut?
No, I don't think his stuff is smut. I think his stuff is like speaking of Christian, I think it's really safe I mean, to be fair, maybe there's some Nicholas Sparks fan who's gonna get really mad at me in the comments. But to my recollection, based on the trailers and what I've gathered, is part of the appeal is those books are really wholesome, or they're like just really they're really sad, but they're otherwise more or less fairly vanilla. But who's to
I
say?
understand. I understand.
I'll turn this into a short.
I'll probably never watch it, so I'll take your word on it.
I'll turn this into a short, and then Ali will comment on it and be like, "No, they're actually hard. They're basically smut. They're totally smut." I'm like, "Oh, okay." The Rock apparently they're making The Rock is apparently making a Hawaiian crime movie with Martin Scorsese, and I'm like, kind of down for this.
Okay.
I'm kind of really down for this.
It's a strange collection of words that you said, but I'm not interested.
Right? I'm like something high energy, something like you go classic Scorsese and you make him just a real dirtbag. Like he just sucks a bunch, and it's about making him entertaining. Oh man, I would love that.
Just make it a Shanghai Noon or something really goofy and fun.
So interesting. Okay, so it's going to be about a mob boss, Hawaiian mob boss who built an empire during the 60s and 70s. And I'm like really hoping The Rock is playing the mob boss because that sounds amazing. That let him really like. I know he's got an MMA movie coming out, which is apparently I think someone can correct me on this, but I think it's like has been screened. That apparently is like his best movie ever, which I really want to see. That's about like early UFC. That's like apparently really good.
I'm down.
But like, yeah, let him play against type. Let him be just like a real dirtbag and do like a Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas. Did you watch Goodfellas? Or did I watch Goodfellas? I watched Goodfellas. But do like a Goodfellas or like a Wolf of Wall Street where you take a really scummy guy and you make him like just highly entertaining. I am kind of stoked for that. I don't care. I still like The Rock. I know it's like he's like unpopular right now, but I still like The Rock.
I mean, you can like him in a project without having to like him as a person.
Also,
not
true.
that you don't dislike him as a person. I'm just saying, as a general fact, you can like a movie that an actor is in without necessarily liking the actor themselves.
True. Okay, so Jordan, let's talk holes.
I mean, phrasing. Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
Let's talk that Holes TV show.
Yes.
So I'm just the names are different, so it's hard to know who they're playing. But basically, Jordan, you want to guess? Hold on, I want to see if I can pull up a.
Didn't you say in this one that they were turning it into a girls' camp?
Yeah, so it's completely gender swapped. Swapped. So like
is a choice.
I just want to see if I can get. It was much easier to decipher when it was like a. Sorry, hold on. But basically, want to guess how many of them are boys? You'll be surprised.
Well, I mean, if it's a girl camp, then the only ones that should be boys should be Kissing Kate Bartlett, who I guess is kissing guy named Bartlett.
Kissing Ken Bartlett.
Yeah, and the warden would have to be, and I guess the lawyer at the end, and maybe that's about it.
There was a really good. Okay, I can't find it. There's a really good.
I guess also Madame Zeroni has to be Mr. Zeroni.
I couldn't figure out. So the names are obviously different.
Zero's mom would have to be his dad.
It was okay. So the warden is Greg Kinnear, who you wouldn't know by name, but you'd recognize him. And then the rest of them were all girls. They'd all been gender swapped to girls, and their names, Jordan wouldn't know them. It's just one of those you don't know them from anything. But they're all girls, and then there was one boy teenage character, and I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be Zero. Zero is still a boy. And now
stupid.
And now he's a love interest. That's what it kind of looked like.
So they're just straight ruining this story.
I mean, hey, it's gotta hit certain. Holes is tough for me because that is so boy gendered. I don't know how you.
It's certainly not. It's certainly not a Zero and Stanley or whatever the girl version is. Stanley fall in love and get married at the end. It's
hold
not
on.
that kind of story.
Let me re-pull up the because yeah, it was saying okay, here I'll read you the cast and then you'll see what I mean. Hold on here. I accidentally deleted it. Give me 2 seconds. And it's much easier for me to see.
Like it just sounds like a completely different
Well,
story
sorta.
at that point.
Okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Greg Kinnear is the warden. Adie Bryant as Sissy. Shay Rudolph as Haley. Flores Delis Alicia. Oh, I'm butchering all these names. As Queenie. Anir Kim Armota as Thumbelina. Noah Cottrell as Kitsch. Leisha Daniels as Mars. Sophie, God, these names. Deal Trin as Sticky. Alexandra as Eyeball. And Maeve Press as Shrimp. So the Holes follows Haley, Rudolph, a teenage girl sent to a detention camp where the ruthless warden, played by Greg Kinnear, forces the campers to dig holes for a mysterious purpose. This male protagonist. So yeah, it's hard to tell which characters are like representing. A lot of those names are very agender, but it's hard to tell like who is supposed to be who, and if these are supposed to be like 1-to-1. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is like okay, this is now a girls' camp, and the only connective tissue is that they're digging holes. I have to see a trailer. I have to see what it looks like.
Yeah, on its face, from what you're telling me, it's just no.
Nah,
Leave it
dog.
alone.
Nah, dog. Yeah. So Jordan, you remember that? I didn't watch the trailer, but you remember that movie where Alec Baldwin shot that guy or girl? Shot that girl?
Rust.
Yeah. Apparently, it's still coming out.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. It's going to movie death. It's going to video on demand.
It is Rust, right?
Yeah, it's Rust. Yeah, they put out a trailer for it, and I was like, really? They're still putting out that movie? That's incredible. Why?
I mean, I'm more just impressed that I remembered the name of it.
I'm impressed you remember the name of it. I knew it was Rust, but
Just shows you how much.
On the other
Just
hand,
shows you how much. Just shows you how much it was in the news.
right? I mean, although it is a Jensen Ackles movie, so I do kind of want it to come out on that basis. But I am floored that movie's coming out. That shocks me.
I can see why you'd say that. It
Right?
shocks me as well.
It shocks me to my core. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, let's join. You want to guess?
12.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Where do you
27.
think Shadow the Hedgehog might show up next?
Okay, I'm gonna need more context. Do you mean in movies? Do you mean in games? What do you mean?
Well, it says Sonic the Hedgehog 4 might not be where we see Shadow next. Where might you think we'd be seeing Shadow next?
I mean, he's of all, any of the characters that I could see them doing a spin-off show. I'm surprised Knuckles came first. I absolutely see them doing a Paramount Plus shadow show.
Now, I had heard that initially he was going to get a show, but then they decided because the movie was so popular that they were going to turn it into a movie. Speaking, we'll do it next. We'll do it next.
That I could also see that. Keanu Reeves doesn't seem like he's opposed to being Shadow. He seemed like he was having a pretty good time.
Right.
So I don't think it would be too hard to convince him to sign on to do a movie or a show.
Oh, interesting. So yeah, apparently, according to a report,
and then, hey, maybe they'd be able to use that show to make Gerald Robotnik retroactively a good character.
Right. Apparently, according to a new report about the state of movie adaptations based on video games as a whole, Sonic 4 is penciled in for 2027 release, and sorry. I thought I misread. I thought it said something about there being a Shadow movie penciled in there as well. I was like, oh yeah, that also makes sense. But no, yeah, apparently based on the success of Sonic 3, yeah, they're gonna They be doing stuff with the Shadow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked by that.
They be making the moves.
I mean, Shadow is a popular enough character that he got his own spin-off game, so it really wouldn't surprise me that he gets his own spin-off show and or movie, especially because Knuckles did.
Jordan, very incredibly. You know what? No, screw it.
To the wall.
Next, Hugh Jackman.
Huge
Ackman. He is going to be in a movie.
Oh, really? He's going to be in a movie.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Hugh Jackman, the actor, is going to be in another movie. Ooh, who could have seen that coming?
He is apparently going to be in a jukebox musical featuring the music of Neil Diamond.
Oh, goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend.
That's not Neil Diamond.
Isn't that Neil Diamond?
That's James Blunt.
Oh, who's Neil Diamond then?
He's it's one of those ones where you would know it if you heard it, but
I'm sure you're right. But I've now clearly misidentified one of the songs.
Yeah, Joyous. They're a Joyous Neil. They form. It's about two lovers who form a Joyous Neil Diamond tribute band.
Hold on, I'm gonna look them up.
Song Sung Blue? I don't know if that's the name of one of the songs. I don't know. I don't know what you would know. I know you know him. It's one of those.
Yeah, you just keep talking. I'm gonna just.
So apparently the director. Really? Oh, I see. You're talking to Bryce Dallas Howard, the director, Mandalorian director. Talking about just spin-offs they want to make, and one of the spin-offs that she wants, or actors, whoever they want to work with Star Wars. And she mentioned that she wants to work with Samuel L. Jackson, potentially, doing a Mace Windu spin-off. And I'm all like, all right.
I mean, I've always maintained that if characters like Darth Maul and Anakin and all these other characters and Luke and Anakin again can survive having their hands, arms, legs, and half their bodies cut in half, Mace Windu could have survived that fall from the window with his two hands chopped off and gotten robot hands like Anakin did.
I mean, he could have turned into a whole robot spider like Darth Maul did.
I'm just saying, it's absolutely believable that he could have survived.
I want like a Kill Bill style. You know what? I've been watching Andor, and like, you know what? Let's just lean into R-rated Star Wars. Let's just do a Kill Bill style revenge movie where it's Mace Windu and he's just like gunning dudes down with his purple lightsaber.
Well, I mean, especially because that fits with Mace Windu as a character, because canon-wise and lore-wise, his fighting style, the whole point of it is that he taps into the dark side.
Yeah, make it where
so you could
absolutely.
You could absolutely have it be where, yeah, it takes place after the Order 66. He's gone full aggressive, maybe not fully dark side, but dark side adjacent, where his morals are much more scrupulous.
Just let Samuel Jackson murder stormtroopers. That's just do it where it's just like make it where he's like where it's from the perspective of like an Empire nobody. And like Mace Windu is this like horror story like slasher villain. That'd be fun. And just let Mace Windu, just let Sam Jackson just like gun down, slice, mow down Empire people. I think that'd be very funny. Jordan, I left this in because I didn't watch the trailer, but I thought it would be funnier if Jordan. I want you to describe to me the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh, is that why you sent that to me?
I mean, I sent it to you. I also meant to watch it, and then we were going to talk about it. But I think it'll be funnier if you try to describe it to me.
I only watched it once.
I know. That's why I think it'll be funny.
So there's a guy and a girl, and then there was some sort of like.
I didn't know there'd be a quiz.
No, I really didn't. I half-heartedly watched it the once.
I know, that's why this would be funny. Keep going.
There's some sort of like blackmail going on where they're like, I know what you did last summer, and then
you've never seen the original, right?
No, never once. It meant nothing to me. And then the end of the trailer is this woman leaning into the other woman and being like, "So what did you do last summer?" And then it's like, "I know what you did last summer," and
Tell me
I was like,
absolutely nothing.
I, I was like, okay, I don't really what. Why did you want me to watch this one specifically?
Because it was
Now I know.
it was in the list of trailers I had that I meant to watch, including Rust, and then I didn't.
Yeah,
And I thought it would be
yeah.
funnier to have you
I don't
describe it
know.
to me.
It
That was
it
worth it.
yeah.
That was worth it. That was funny. Totally
I
worth it.
can't tell you whether or not it looks good or not, but from what I could see in the comments, it seems like people are excited.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen the first two. I sort of remember the first one. Um, it's another slasher flick where they run over. They made fun of it on The Simpsons, but yeah, they run over the a guy and then he kills them all for revenge. And he phones them and goes, "I know what you did last summer. I'm doing.
I
it
mean,
bad.
yeah,
We'll watch it for Halloween. There we go."
it seemed like a pretty standard slasher movie. I don't know.
Jordan, Predator Badlands.
Justin,
Predator Badlands. Nobody be liking the design of the Predator on the internet. I don't have an issue with it. I think it looks fine, but I've seen enough people be like, I don't like it, to be like that they don't like it, but I like it. I think that trailer looks fun. I think that movie looks fun, and I think Prey was good enough that he has earned my trust. The laser stuff looks fun when he slices the guys. That looks fun.
I agree with most of your sentiments, and I'm definitely willing to give it a chance. But I'm in the camp of I don't really like. I figured out how I don't like the design either, but that's mostly just because I think it looks too human.
Yeah, I mean that to be fair, that's
it
because
just pulls me out of it.
That's because the character needs to be more human.
I understand why it needs
to be more empathetic. That's what
I understand that, but it for me it just makes it not feel like a Predator.
I guarantee you that Predator speaks English. Like, I guarantee you that either that's going to be a twist or it's going to be revealed. I will be shocked if that Predator is indeed the main character of that movie, if it does not speak English, and that's why it's been made to look more human, and it's going to be like a different kind of Predator or something.
I could see going one of two ways.
But it's also not the worst Predator design. Yeah, some of the later Predator designs are bad.
I could see it going one of two ways. One, the entire movie he speaks in and we get English subtitles, which would be stupid. Or two, he speaks basic English, jarbled English, and then when he talks to himself, he speaks in Predator, and we get subtitles.
I could see that. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time. I don't think this is the first time Predators have spoken.
Or I could see it being a third way, where the entire movie he is speaking Predator and isn't actually speaking English, we hear English, and then when he runs across humans, they have no idea what he's saying, but we do.
I could see that. Well, the plot of it is that Predator and a human are teaming up to go fight a big thing.
So I could see it being a thing where we understand the Predator, but she doesn't.
Or it's a thing of we as the audience hear it as English, but she just speaks Predator.
Something like that,
and
yeah.
then we just hear them speaking to each other in English. Because, it's not the first time. Oh, to be fair, I haven't read. I don't want to know anything about this. I want to go. I might, if this goes to theaters, we will probably go watch it in theaters and contrive an episode around it. Because I want to see it. I like the last one a lot, and I want to see this one. But it's not. I don't believe this would, if it does speak, which I assume it is going to if it's the main character. It's not the first time Predators have spoken to humans. In previous movies, I can't remember which one, but one of them ends where the human and the Predator teams up and they speak via voice.
The arm machine thing.
Yeah, the arm machine. I think that was, and they talk via that.
I think that was the second or first Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, I feel like it's the second one. I think.
Because that sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, the one in one of these they talk that way, and it's in full. And I think it might be the Shane Black one, Predators. You see them talk, and you see them talk with subtitles, which was like the first time you'd ever actually seen them talk. But yeah, I'm excited for that. It's one of those like I understand why people are off put by it, but I don't know. I think the rest of it looks fun, so I'm down. I am down.
Yeah, for me, I'm largely indifferent. But the last one earned trust, like it was good, and so I'm interested in watching it mostly because of the last one.
Yeah.
But it's for me, it's just I don't like the design. Flat, full
Uh,
stop.
I suspect it probably only looks like that for one scene, and the rest it'll have its hair down. I assume they thought that that
Oh,
was the.
for me. It's not just the hair. It's like the entire facial structure is just too. It looks like a human.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see what you're talking about, but all right. So I realized once again, like an idiot, I have forgotten to put a sponsor. And that's the other news. Oh no, sorry, I had one more news. Last news story. Incredibly, they're making an Enola Holmes 3.
Yeah, I saw that. I heard about that.
I cannot believe they're doing that.
I don't mind those movies. I think I didn't mind the second one.
I recall you saying that they were quite fun. I just can't believe
Yeah,
that they're popular
they're
enough to
fine.
make a third one. That
I
seems like a
mean,
bold choice.
I feel like that's maybe I'm misrepresenting or misunderstanding how popular she is, but I feel like maybe that's because of the Millie Bobby Brown. She seems like people like her.
It depends on the day. Sometimes they seem like they don't. Other times they seem like they do. I don't know. Or maybe this was put into production when she was more popular. Or maybe it's gonna come out when that final season of Stranger Things finally comes out.
Because I mean, I know Netflix and her are pretty tight because she
Yeah,
didn't just have the Enola Holmes, she just also came out with that Electric Sheep
which I
movie,
hear is bad.
which I don't know. I haven't watched it. I've been wanting to, and they also did that one where she was a Xena warrior princess.
Yo, yeah, yeah.
So like Netflix and her kind of just seem to be like tight.
Kind of seems that way. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, to be fair, she's like she's a self-admitted like Netflix nepo baby. So like, yeah, they have a deal and she's cool with it.
Uh,
Um. Anyway.
so I mean, I'm just saying it kind of seems like because of that deal is why
Yeah,
it's coming
I'm
out.
guessing. Yeah, there's no way this isn't going to come out the same time Stranger Things does because her popularity will go up because I guarantee you her character is going to die.
I
I
mean,
stand by that prediction. That's my hard prediction. Her character is going to die in a bloody, sad, tragic She's going to make like a sad sacrifice where she sacrifices herself to close the Upside Down forever. So she never has to come back to do one of these things. There's never a question of it'll be definitive. So she never has to do a spin-off or do a sequel or maybe one day we'll do a reunion movie. She can finally be free of this franchise forever, which is what she truly wants. The only one who seems even remotely excited for this is Finn Wolfhard. He's the only one. The rest of them just kind of seem like they want to be done.
I mean, I don't blame them. I would be.
I mean, yeah, they've been making it since they were
It's
like
it's
kids,
another.
and now they're all
Yeah, I was
adults.
gonna say it's another example of Harry Potter where yeah, they started when they were like 11 and
Yeah.
now they're like in their 20s and they just want to be finished.
10 years of making 5 seasons of television that they've had to answer about forever. They're like, why hasn't it come back yet? We don't know. It's really funny. Just as a quick adjacent about Finn Wolfhard, is I constantly forget he lives in Vancouver.
Wait, he lives in
Yeah,
Vancouver?
he's from Vancouver. Yeah, I think he currently lives in Vancouver with his parents.
That's hilarious.
And so yeah, so he did.
You think him and the Game Grumps hang out when they come and do shows in Vancouver?
Absolutely they do. There's no way they don't. But he did a video
Hilarious.
with Last Kitchen, one of their last meal episodes, and one of his things they had chubbies, the little chubby sodas.
Oh
And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my god, that's so friggin' like that's BC. It's not even just Canadian. It's like British Columbian. Like,
Oh yeah, we grew
like,
up with
yeah,
those.
they're-
If you didn't have one of those in your lunch kits growing up, you weren't one of the popular
I know, and
kids.
they're terrible soda.
They were not very good.
I've been tempted a few times. I've seen them in our local grocery store, and there's been a few times where I'm like, oh, is it worth the spike in my diabetes just to try it just one more time? I almost got one last time I went to the grocery store. But yes, anyway. I once again, for some reason, forgot to put a sponsor in this week. So this episode is brought to you by the Arte Media Pantheon, because I messed up the intro, so they get to sponsor this week's episode. We'll put the website up front, and also because maybe Jake will be here next week, to talk Star Wars with us. Maybe.
Whoa! You're giving away the game. We're not even at the end of the episode yet.
Oh yeah, next week is May 4th. You all know it's coming. Anyway, so let's talk about the website. You all can go, a handy aggregate website for not just our content, but our good friend Allie's content, and our good friend Jake's content, and our good friend Virus, and our good friend Haley. And the
Goosebumps crew,
our good friends, the Goosebumps
and all the other people in the network, because they're all important too.
And all the other people on the network, the Dr. Fantastic and Peter Zisa, who always likes my stuff on TikTok. You can go check out all their content and the big excellent feed which our video goes into every week. You can listen to all the podcasts there, and like I mentioned up top, they will absolutely help you start your own podcast. If you want, that's how we have a podcast, is with Jake's handy step-by-step, this is how you make a podcast guide, which you gain access to when you join the network. It will literally teach you step-by-step how to create your podcast, what to name your podcast, what you should make for a logo, where to post your podcast, which I learned is like ton about Spotify for Creators, which is a really useful platform. One of the videos is about how to make YouTube Shorts and TikToks, which was basically just a really excellent tutorial for CapCut. It's all kinds of handy information you can get if you go to the website. Contact Jake; he will get you set up, and there's all kinds of great content on there. So, we say on the top of the show, Jordan. Let's spell it together now. A. No, I'll go A. We'll alternate. Well, A. No, we're gonna alternate. So I go A, you go R.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay.
I see.
So A.
R.
E.
T.
E. Media.
.org.
That was a excellent failure. That was
A.
No, we're not doing it again. Oh, it's gonna be one of those episodes. We're not doing it again. Nothing.
A.
No. It failed the first time. A.
A.
Didn't work the first time, Jordan. It worked the first time. So you know what I forgot to mention at the top of the show? I forgot to mention. We're in the second half. Go to Arte Media. Tell them we sent you. I forgot to mention. I meant to mention this at the top of the show. The ending of last week's show. I ate the pepper. It ended badly. I just kind of landed on it talking animal movies because it was in my head earlier, and I said it to Jordan. It wasn't really what I was thinking. I didn't intend for this to happen. But I also wanted to mention that at the time, before I ate the pepper, I meant to mention the benchmarks that came with me eating that stupid pepper. And that is, if you get us to...
Don't you mean the awesome pepper that you were thankful that they pushed you to eat because it meant that we hit 150?
We are now at 159. I was really hoping we were going to be at 160 because that would have been rad. But we are currently at 159, which is rad. Thank you, everyone, for subscribing. But here is the new goal. I will eat another Serrano pepper at 200 subscribers. But this time I'm going to have ice cream with me. With me. I'm going to have an entire, probably like a carton. No, maybe more than a carton. I'm going to have a bunch of ice cream with me that time. Because that was the lesson.
And I'm weak. I'm weak with spice, so maybe I'll just start with some barbecue chips.
Jordan's not tapping in on the spicy quite. I mean, unless you want to tap in on some spicy. We can get you some appropriately spicy chips.
No, we need to hit like a significantly higher benchmark before I hit something super spicy. That's why I said maybe I'll start with some barbecue chips.
At 500, Jordan will eat a candied jalapeno.
I don't know. We'll talk about it.
At 500, those are not super spicy.
We will have a negotiating meeting
Um,
out after the stream.
But at 500, 200 subscribers, I will eat another serrano pepper, solo. We'll find something Jordan can do. 500 subscribers, I will eat a habanero pepper live on stream. At the end of the stream, because the minute I eat that habanero pepper, it will end the stream. It will be incredibly painful. I know it's coming this time, but I will eat a habanero pepper with my ice cream live on stream at 500. I will do that. And then at 1,000, me and Jordan will record a Hot Ones. And we'll post it on the channel. So
maybe we'll put that on our Patreon too.
Nah, Jordan, we might. If
what we should do is we do that one live, so people can show up and watch it live, and if they want to watch it on repeat, then they have to go and subscribe to our Patreon.
That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. But either way, we'll do it. We're gonna do a Hot Ones. We're gonna get some chicken wing or chicken wing equivalent, and then we're gonna get hot.
I mean, Justin, obviously we're gonna get
3 hot sauces.
Obviously, we're gonna get dinosaur-shaped chicken wings.
I mean, sure.
Dino nuggets.
We'll get dino nuggets, and then we'll just put the hot sauce on the dino nuggets, or we'll
because we have to we have to make our suffering fun.
Well, we will drop the $30 to get a Hot Ones hot sauce from Showcase at the mall. But these are the new perks, I guess. I don't know. That video is doing punishment. That video is doing kind of well. So like, hey, eating hot stuff apparently gets you attention on the internet. So I will do it. 500 subscribers. I will eat a habanero pepper. See, I'm saying that with the intention that it won't happen for probably at least in a year. So, and I will probably have long since forgotten about it, and no one will hold me to account.
Year and a half, because that's how long it took us to hit the first 150.
I mean, true, but like,
although
getting to
200
60 has taken us significantly less time. I will say that.
Yeah, 200. Yeah, maybe by your birthday. At the rate we're going,
I think it might happen. Because oh my god, we have not even got. Sorry, this is a real long. I guess this is a spur of the moment announcement promise. I guess we're just gonna we'll ramble for a bit longer to make this long enough to justify its own YouTube video.
But yeah, no, I mean we're growing at a decent rate.
I wasn't expecting to barely be at 150 before my birthday. Like I was not expecting to hit 150 this soon in the year. So I mean we hit our moments of stagnation. We've been sitting at 159 for a few, but we hit like 1 or 2 every couple days. We've been doing okay.
Yeah, we went up like 9 in a week.
Considering like it's us and we don't really have a niche. Although it's fun. We hit like a niche. We hit niche episodes where we strike into a niche that just cartoons this like past week have been performing exceptionally well, which is why I'm hoping talking about as well.
We have a niche, Justin. Our niche is being punching bags for the trolls that like commenting on our videos.
This is true.
That's our niche.
That is our niche. Anyway, 500 subscribers. I will eat a habanero live on stream.
Well, Justin will have habanero, and I'll do something.
And Jordan will have to do the end slate because so Jordan, spend the next while learning the end slate because you're once again gonna have to do it because I will be dying because I will not be able to speak.
I did it last time.
And I'm just saying, it's a relatively inexpensive activity. That pepper only cost me 15 cents. So, like, I will do it. I will do it for the gram.
For the content.
For the content. I will eat a hot pepper for content. I think that's what we're going to call this video. I will eat a hot pepper for content. So, anyway.
No. The name of the video will be I will eat another hot pepper for content.
I will eat another hot pepper. I will eat a hotter pepper for content. I don't know. Okay, I will consider a ghost pepper at 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, that's far away. That's not even...
Consider. But by that point, we will be in a studio, and we will be in the room together. Because we will be making money off of this. Anyway... On with the show.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. That's our what's coming, I guess, section of the show. We don't usually do that. Um, talking animal movies. So yeah, so
Talking animal
in
movies.
a fit of being in pain, I said yes to talking animal movies. And here's the thing about talking animal movies that, like any subject we learn, not all of these are created equal.
That is very true.
And also, just like I kind of discovered, like we're gonna at one point at least ask the question of like, what constitutes a talking animal movie exactly? What do you consider to be a talking animal movie?
Movie where animals are talking.
Right. Keep that in mind. Jordan, what's your first movie?
Well, my first one is actually a sequel to a Dom DeLuise, not Dom DeLuise, Don Bluth movie. Um, Wrong Dom.
I mean, he's
The
in the, but yeah,
Dom DeLuise is in both.
it's true.
Don, the other name that I said was the guy who made the first one and had absolutely no involvement in the second one,
Nope. No.
which is All Dogs Go to Heaven too.
Yeah.
Um,
It's too
which,
heavy
as
right
an
here.
aside, did you know that this and the first one both went to theaters?
Really? The second
Yep.
one went to
This was
theaters. I knew the
this
first
was
one
a
did.
this was a theatrical release.
Really? Wow. No, I did not know the second one went to theaters. I knew the first one did, but I thought this was straight to DVD. No way.
It,
Huh.
it had a box office of 8.6 million. It did not do very well.
Huh.
Um, but yeah, it received mostly negative reviews from critics, and was MGM's last theatrically released animated film until Igor. Um, but so another fun question. When the movie starts, because maybe all these years I've missed this. Does it tell you how many years after the events of the first film it is?
No, it's just an
No,
indeterminate amount of time, isn't it?
because this Wikipedia article says 57 years after the events of the first
Now,
film,
to be
which
completely fair,
to my knowledge, I've never noticed a part where they say how many years it's been.
no,
Um,
it might be. Well, I mean, it might be based on something he says in the dialogue, or based on the
maybe.
song when he sings "It's Too Heavenly." Here, maybe there's something in that conveys how many decades it's been. But no. But to be fair, it's been so long since I've seen that movie in its entirety.
Oh,
Anyway,
I just watched it and I didn't notice that. Anyways, it was just a thing that I saw when I looked at this, where I was like, I don't remember them ever saying the
yeah.
year.
Charlie Sheen takes over for Burt
There's
Reynolds.
three individuals that have been replaced. Hold on, I can
Yeah,
tell
I'm
you.
guessing if. Well, let me guess. It's the Charlie, the Annabelle, the pink dog,
Yeah, I believe she's one of them.
and ooh, no, Itchy's not been replaced. Not Carface. The Carface's assistant. I'm gonna guess.
Carface's assistant is not in this one.
Oh, okay. I couldn't think who who's
Burt
the third
Reynolds,
one.
Vic Tayback, and Melba Moore are replaced by Charlie Sheen, Ernest Borgnine,
So Carface is one of them.
Bebe Newworth. Yeah,
Wait. So Borgstein doesn't play Carface in the first All Dogs Go to Heaven?
uh,
He's the one who plays Carface,
Charlie,
right? Borgstein?
Charlie Sheen replaced Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, which character does Borgstein play?
Hold on, shush for a sec. I'm looking.
Because I'm pretty sure he's Carface.
Ernest Borgnine, is Carface.
Yeah, so he's not the original
He's
Carface.
Oh, he's not. It doesn't say that he's been released or he's been
Oh,
replaced.
so then who was the third one then? Sorry?
Uh, Adam, what Willie is David, who is Anne Marie's replacement. Hold on, I'm looking. Oh, there we are. Uh, Bebe Newworth is Annabelle, who is
Yeah.
now Melba Moore.
Yeah. That,
Or no, she was Melba Moore in the first one.
right.
Now she's Bebe Newworth. Um,
Because, yeah, I
that
also knew
doesn't.
Charlie Sheen replaced Burt Reynolds. That I knew.
Hold on, I can't tell. Hold on.
Is it? Is it?
Dom
supposed to be?
DeLuise is back.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds is no longer. Adam Willie is David. Sheena. What did I say the other one was? Baby knew Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, he plays Carface. So just
So
go.
Vic
So just go to
Vic
the.
Tayback.
Just go to the original
Vic
All Dogs.
Yeah, Vic Tayback was the original one.
Was the original Carface.
I'm looking at his filmography. Hold on. Let's do find him page.
I would have just gone to the All Dogs Go to Heaven. The first one, just saw who played Carface. In fact, I could be doing that. Let's see who gets there faster. Let's play Wikipedia.
Yeah, in All Dogs Go to Heaven, it was this Vic guy.
Really?
Vic Tayback was the original Carface.
Really? I always thought it was the same guy. Wow, I just learned something new. Well, all right then.
Shit. Whoops.
Study an IMDb page every once in a while. Why don't you?
So my big thing with this movie, which I've taken too long to talk about for a rapid fire, it's fun, it's cute. It comes from that era of 1996 when everything wanted to be Disney.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a recurring theme in this is other companies that wanted to be Disney.
Yeah.
And this definitely comes from that era. Now, a thing that I kind of realized watching it this time compared to the first movie. So the first movie, All Dogs Go to Heaven, very much has to be animals because one of the major points is that the little girl can talk to animals, right?
Yeah.
This movie, when you think about it, doesn't need to be animals. All the story is, and it's like really most strictest definition is an angel comes from heaven and helps guide a boy back to his family.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He could be a human angel.
You could have these
would it be
humans.
All Dogs Go to Heaven? Now would it?
No, but I'm just saying in terms of the story as opposed to the first one, whereas the first one had to be animals. This one you could do this story and have it not be animals.
To be fair, yeah, this movie does contrive a reason as to why the kid can talk to animals, which is just heaven magic.
Yeah, Charlie has a miracle, and that's why he can understand them.
Gives him, and then he passes the heaven magic to the girl dog, so he can also to the girl dog. Yeah, I know it's sort of lazy. It also doesn't have the edge, but to be fair, as previously discussed, now you got me confused. Is it Don or Dom DeLuise? Dom DeLuise is an actor. He's the wiener dog. Don Bluth was the director of the original film. He, as previously discussed, he wants to traumatize your children.
Yeah, and he had no involvement in this one, which is why it did not want to traumatize your children. Although I argue that the latter half with the devil cat. He's a little traumatizing.
He's pretty scary. He can get kind of scary. There's
the part where
we place
Carface. There's the part where Carface is kidnapping the kid, and it's like, yeah, if I was that kid, I'd be a little freaked out.
The thing about those movies is they undercut their that movie in particular kind of undercuts the character's tension by giving him a silly song.
Which character?
The evil cat character. He's got good to be, and you're like, it kind of undercuts the scary moment, which I get is the point. It's meant to disarm kids so they're less scared of him, so they can make him more scary at the end. But it just kind of makes him feel ineffective.
It's also just to give it to the Disney effect.
I mean that too. It also desperately wants to be a Disney movie, which is it's funny. That is a theme that's going to come back for one of mine too. Jordan, is that it? Is that it for you?
I will note it was apparently only the second. It was the second of only 2 theatrical sequels to Don Bluth film that made it to theaters.
I'm surprised that weren't to theaters. That's
worked on by him.
Yeah,
I know. Looking at it, it feels very cheap.
Oh yeah. Well, then it led to the TV show and the Christmas special, which looks like that movie. So I could swear.
I don't know. Those definitely look cheaper than this. But
I only ever remember watching this on DVD, well VHS at the time. But
VHS.
What year did this? Yeah,
according to this, 1996.
So okay, there's a chance we could have watched it in theaters, maybe. I have no memory of ever watching that in theaters.
The first one came out in 1989.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I think that's one of his first one, if not his first one. So Jordan, that's it. That's it for All Dogs Go to Heaven 2.
If you want specific, the release date on here says March 29th, 1996.
All right. So is that it?
Yeah, no, that's all there is for All Dogs Go to Heaven 2.
Okay, my first one is it's a not James Gunn, not James Franco, Kevin James movie called The Zookeeper, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Kevin James is a zookeeper who proposes to his girlfriend, and the girlfriend breaks up with him because he is a zookeeper. And it turns out his brother is about to get married, and the ex-girlfriend comes back into his life and kind of seems like she wants to get back together. And oopsie poopsie Jordan, turns out that the animals in the zoo can talk, and they don't want him to get back together with the girl, because if he does, she'll just dump him again, and he becomes a mopey sad sap. And he's the best zookeeper they've ever had because he actually gives a shit. And so they want him to be happy. And so then he finds out. Do you not remember this movie? You've definitely seen this movie. We watched it in theaters once.
I'm aware of it, but I don't specifically remember watching. But this is a good, real quick. Word 789 says, "Can I just say, if we are talking about talking animal movies, does Kangaroo Jack count?" I would say no, because he talks in one scene and it's a dream.
No, it's not, because fun fact, that movie actually had nothing to do with that kangaroo. It had a completely different name, and it was like something Heat or Miami Heat, and it had nothing to do with the kangaroo. And it was actually like a serious drama, and it tested very poorly with test audiences, so they completely retooled. The test audiences loved the kangaroo, so they retooled it, reshot a bunch of stuff, re-edited it, and added that scene with him talking in post and slapped it all over the marketing. And it had nothing to do with that movie. So fundamentally, no. Anyway, Zookeeper.
Zookeeper.
Yeah, we definitely. I can't remember. We've definitely seen it. But so Kevin James, Zookeeper, animals. They don't want him to be sad. So they accidentally the lion, played by Sylvester Stallone, is like, no, there's a code. We can't talk to humans. And he accidentally, or they decide that they're gonna help him get together with this girl, subtly. But as part of this, a bid to help him, they escape. The lion escapes so that he can intervene and help him. And he ends up finding out. Kevin James ends up finding out that the animals can talk. And so then the movie becomes about the animals trying to help him pick up this girl, essentially. It becomes Hitch, but the animals
being his wingman.
Yeah, and so he ends up becoming strong. He becomes acting more like an alpha male, kind of bro-y type of guy, based on the advice from the lion. And it hit a point where the capuchin was Adam Sandler, but he was doing that I don't know how to describe it. The Adam Sandler. I'm Adam Sandler. That Adam Sandler voice.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that Adam Sandler voice. Yeah, he's doing that voice for the monkey. And
where he's very over the top and he's talking like Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that voice. He's doing that for the monkey.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
Yeah, he's doing that voice for the monkey, and I'm like, is this a Happy Madison movie? I went to Wikipedia. It is. It is a Happy Madison movie. But it's honestly not bad. I was having a pretty good time. It was honestly it was funny. I laughed a bunch. The talking animal effect was not good. I kind of learned this week that not all of these talking animal effects not created equal. The other funny bit about it is Joe Rogan is in it randomly. He's in it as the girlfriend that he's trying to get back, the ex-girlfriend's other ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Word 789 says, reminds me of the Laughing Seagull skit in Family Guy with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Rogan is in this movie randomly as the ex-girlfriend's other ex-boyfriend. And I thought, he's just Joe Rogan. No, he's actually playing a character named Gale. And his whole bit is he's really like insecure, and like he's trying to get the friend back, and him and Kevin James are competing, and I'm like, oh, he clearly did this after he did Here Comes the Boom. Like, and I looked it up. I was like, no, this came out before Here Comes the Boom. So he did Here Comes the Boom because of this stupid animal movie, which made me laugh. Also, yeah, Boss Rutan is randomly in it as like I can't remember what he's, but he's one of the animals. It's legit. It was surprisingly funny. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed that movie. That's it. That's
Is that all you have to
Zookeeper.
say about the Zookeeper?
That is the Zookeeper.
Okay. So, my next movie, Justin, is Finding...
Nemo?
Ha! No! Dory! You
Oh.
thought I was going to say Nemo.
I did.
Shit.
I did thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say Nemo.
Nope, it was Finding Dory. Finding Nemo would have been too obvious.
What the nose.
I like Finding Dory. I think it's cute, and I think it's impressive how they managed to make an entire movie about a character who can't remember anything.
That is true.
Because she suffers from short-term memory loss.
She's got that short-term memory loss. I remember the octopus is funny. I enjoyed
The octopus is funny. There's also the whale shark, who's very blind, and the other ones, and also Marlin and Nemo are there.
They're also
They are also there, and I gotta say, I think it's impressive how they managed to make a fish look like it has a receding hairline with Dory's dad.
yeah, it was fun.
Like, that's impressive. They managed to make a fish have a receding hairline.
Right. I remember liking that movie, and then I don't think it did very well.
Crush is also in it.
Crush is also in it.
I would tend to disagree with the "it didn't do well" sentiment. Had a budget of $200 million. I don't do this normally for rapid fires, but I have to prove you wrong. It had a budget of $200 million, and it had a box office of I can't tell if that's a 1.029 billion or 1029 billion. But the point is it made billions with a B.
With a B.
Billion.
Billions with a B.
Uh,
A big old billions.
Yeah, no, this one's fun though.
It is fun. I enjoyed that movie. Yes. And
That's Finding Dory.
That's Finding Dory. My next one. My next one is also a Don Bluth movie. It's funny you picked a Don Bluth movie. I also picked a Don Bluth movie. I picked a Don Bluth movie I had not watched in a very long time, and as it turns out, I did not remember very well. But I watched Pebble and the Penguin. And friend of the podcast, Jake, as I recall, liked this movie. And like, it's really bottom rung Don Bluth affair. Like, I saw a contemporary review that described it as like unfinished. Like, it felt unfinished, and I definitely agree with that. Do you remember Pebble and the Penguin?
I know that it's the one that where the penguin has the scarf and the funny looking hat. I don't think I've ever watched it.
I think we did maybe a long time ago. Long time ago.
I have no memory of it. I remember the character, but I don't have any other strong memory.
It reminds me a lot of Troll in Central Park, where it's really desperately... The base plot of it is the penguin funny hat. He wants to give this special pebble to his girl, but Tim Curry is there, and he's doing this voice, which is like not quite Tim Curry voice, and like half Surfer Bro, half Tim Curry voice. So every once in a while it sounds like Tim Curry, but then every second word sounds like this weird Surfer Bro. It's off-putting, and I didn't like it. It was distracting. And the way that the penguins are drawn is they're drawn with like human looking arms that don't really look like wings. It's very odd. It's very strange. And yeah,
did you like it?
It was all right. I really liked there's a character called Hopper played by Jim Belushi, who's really fun, feisty character. But it reminded me a lot of Troll in Central Park, where it desperately wants to be a Disney movie, or it has a lot of musical numbers that don't do anything or go anywhere or aren't particularly good or memorable. Like, it's one of those ones where they're about to get home, and you're like, okay, good, the movie's about to end. And then they start to sing a song about how they're friends now. You're like, no, please don't. Oh, no, okay. This could have been 4 minutes shorter. It's one of those. It's fun, or it's different to see a movie where killer whales are presented as being scary. So, like, there's a part where they're trying, they're trying to get back home to the girl, and they run afoul of some killer whales. And they're, like, massive, obviously, to these little penguins. And you just hear that, like, killer whale singing sound. And, like, they're scary looking. He's like, yeah, they're massive. They have really sharp teeth. And they hunt in groups. And, like, they're presented as being really scary. Same thing with harbor seals. Where it's like, yeah, they look cute, but they're nasty predators. And that was kind of fun. And that was I was like, man, I could see how this would be scary as a kid. But yeah, otherwise the animation is just, like, again, not his best stuff. Just not his best stuff, in my opinion. Sorry, Jake. I know you like that movie. It did not do it for me. It's not the worst movie I saw this week. And I wouldn't say it's bad. The worst movie I saw this week, I would say it's bad. It's a bad movie. I watched one bad movie this week, and you're never going to guess what it is. You want to try?
Do you want me to guess what it is?
You want to try? I'll answer when we get there.
Let me think. I only know a few of what you watched, or only remember a few of what you watched. Was it... No, I'm blanking on what you watched. I could bring up a list, but I'm not going to.
I'll give you a hint. I had seen it before.
Well, okay. What we'll do is, as we go through them, you say what they are, and then I'll guess in the moment.
Oh, that's I'll do it. We'll go through the list, and I'll be like, "Do you think this is the worst one I saw?"
Yeah, and then you'll tell me about it.
And then I'll tell you, and then at the end, I'll tell you if you're wrong. Boom, boom. Okay, there we go. We got this. What's your next one?
My next one is another example of, and
see, we figured this out on the fly, folks. We're making it up as we go along.
For understandable reasons. Looking at anyway, the Swan Princess was the next one that I watched, which was another. It wanted to be Disney.
Oh yeah, that movie desperately wants to be. Then that's not a Don Bluth movie.
But no.
See,
but you want to know why? You want to know why it this one in particular felt like a Disney one? Is because this film is directed by former Disney animation director Richard Rich.
That makes sense.
It kind of literally is a Disney one.
I thought it was a Don. I remember it being. I swear it was a Don Bluth movie. Like, I remember that being a Don Bluth movie. That's incredible to me. Very much. Like, that one is very much. She is Disney princess coded hard. Also, I'm pretty sure it cuts out a great. Like, it doesn't have like the black swan or any of that. I'm pretty sure like completely has nothing to do with the Swan Lake.
I mean, it had. I mean, it's loosely based on it, but because like she's a swan and she's on the lake.
I mean,
and like at when the moon is full or whatever, she turns into the thing and yada yada yada. And I mean, it's your pretty standard princess movie.
I haven't seen it. I don't think I've seen that. Rewatched that movie since I've been an adult.
This was the first time I've watched it since I was a kid.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it since I was a kid. All I remember about it is being like it's all right, and then the later ones are where it's like they have to contrive a reason for her to be a swan again, and it becomes lazy. I know
will say,
two sequels. I'm pretty sure
the frog character in this movie is played by John Cleese.
All right.
So that's kind of fun.
That's kind of fun. I remember the bad guy being kind of scary.
Yeah, it's all relative. I mean, this movie didn't do very well. It was a box office
No.
bomb. Oh yeah, by the way, this was a theatrical one,
Oh yeah, that one
which
absolutely went to theaters. The other rest of them are all straight to DVD. That I know, but that one
which it did not do well because it was struggling to compete with The Lion King.
of course it was. Really, really, really. What year did this come out?
94.
Really? Oh, I would have guessed. Yeah, I would have guessed older. I would have guessed 92.
Nope.
Oh,
This came out in 94, and
all
it
right.
it was competing with The Lion King.
All right. All right. How
Um,
fascinating! I did not know that.
but it's to me this isn't like an Anastasia or
Yeah.
uh ones which aren't Disney, but they're just as fun.
I
I
mean,
had
yeah.
fun with this one. Like there's nothing inoffensive or bad about it necessarily. It's just it was
Per
pretty
se,
standard for the time, for the age.
for the ages, for the McAges. Jordan, is that it?
Also, for whatever reason, every time I went to look up this movie, my dyslexic brain, I don't actually have dyslexia, but my dyslexic brain would always type in the Princess Swan.
It's about a princess who's a swan.
And it's about a
Uh,
princess who becomes a swan.
she becomes. I mean, hey, that's what it's technically about. Okay, Jordan. I'm gonna ask you a question now, Jordan. Do you remember this movie, Jordan? The Legend of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Oh, I remember that movie.
You know that?
Is that the worst one?
No, no. I actually
No,
quite like
not
this
the worst
movie.
one.
I quite enjoyed this movie. Actually, it was really fun. The number one thing I remember about this movie the most, though, is you remember that? Remember the trailer? I'm gonna put the trailer. If this ends up becoming a video, which I'm hoping it will. I'm gonna cut the trailer in. But remember the trailer where it was the king,
Yeah,
kings and
vaguely.
queens.
I mean, I remember watching the trailer like so many times.
Yeah, and it was that's where I first discovered the 30 Seconds to Mars song "Kings and Queens," where it's like this slow. This movie's this movie. Okay, anytime I'm like I can't think of any Zack Snyder movies I like, I always forget about this one. Directed by Zack Snyder, based on a series of like 15 main books, and then there's a ton of like spin-offs. So there's the main 15 books, which are about the characters of this movie, and then all of the Guardians all have like backstories. So the character in the movie, you know how in the movie, how much of the movie do you remember? Do I need to re-go over?
Uh, Sorry, my brain did a skip there. This was the Guardians of
Guardians.
Ga'Hoole.
Yeah.
I remember enough about it. They start off the brother, or they end up getting taken from the tree, and then they fly to the big tree, like
Yeah.
the biggish owl and the little owl. We're halfway there.
Yeah. Well, in the
And then they have to fight the evil owl people,
yeah.
and the
Well,
brother is with the evil owl people.
they like for example at the beginning of the book or the beginning of the movie they reference like a battle of ice glacials. No, I'm gonna get wrecked in the comments for this because I'm sure there's big Guardians of Ga'Hoole fans. But they mention a specific battle of ice something at the beginning of the movie. That
Yeah, which is
battle,
where the trainer or the
yeah,
hero or whatever fought.
that's a book that you can buy. There's a book that's about that battle. And there's a
That,
bunch of
that,
books about there's
that tracks.
the guardian who betrays the rest of them or whatever to the bad guys.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a book about him as well. That like there's a series of books about their backstory and stuff, as well as the main storyline. Yeah, this movie is an adaptation of the first three books, which like encompasses like the first three acts of the movie. So like the first act of the movie where they're trapped in the
The
like
mines or whatever.
the orphanage or whatever. That's its own book. Them traveling to the tree is its own book, and them at the tree is its own book. And apparently, each of those books is like completely different tonally. Like the first book is almost like this survival horror of them at this this orphanage institute or whatever, trying to escape. The second one is obviously an adventure story, and then the third book is apparently like more closer to Harry Potter. Like that's more what it's like. And so trying to mash them into a coherent sort of story is obviously tough. And it was a movie where I could tell. I'm like, yeah, I could tell this is more than one book. I'm like, is this more than one book? Yeah, it was more than one book. But it is stunningly animated. Like apparently they wanted to film it or animate it so it would look like it was like an actual movie. It's like it was real, like it was being filmed with real cameras, and it absolutely shows. The owls and the birds, like they look like photorealistic in a way that is actually interesting and fun to watch. It's Zack Snyder, so there is some sick slow motion shots of like owls flying through rain and stuff that just look phenomenal, that just look great, that are just well executed and well shot. I watched a video that basically said that this is kind of a surface level telling of the story, but it's an interesting story. I will say it reminded me more of do you remember the Silverwing books?
The bats.
The bats, yeah.
They're bats.
Where it's like
I'm aware of them. I never read them.
Oh,
but...
okay. It reminded me a lot of those books where it's like it's a universe that is it's an animal universe that has this like deep mythology and like deep like there's a lot of lingo and there's a lot of names, like the names are difficult to pronounce and remember, like they've got it's like that kind of story. That's what this reminded me of, was of that story.
I just remember always being disappointed that there was never a second movie.
Yeah, well, reading about it, they constantly, it's one of those movies they constantly talk about. I think there's space for it. And again, it's a well-made movie, and yeah, I don't know. It turns out when he's not bastardizing characters, I quite like Zack Snyder's directing style. Like there's some really fun action sequences. Oh, and another thing that's different from this compared to the book. The brother and Metalbeak are separated into two characters. Metalbeak in the book is the brother, and it's a big twist. And it's a fairly clever twist at that, because he in the book they both don't fall out of the tree. It's just the main guy, Soren. He's the one who falls out of the tree, and then you find out later it's a twist that the brother actually pushed him.
Oh, so in the book, it's less that he fell from goodness into being evil and was just always evil.
Yeah. In the movie, they make him a lot more sympathetic, and they make him a lot. Yeah, there's more of a corruption. Also, the woman, basically the bad guy in the movie, he is in the book, so he's the first leader of the purebloods or whatever. He's the first. Oh, well, the orphanage that they go to at the beginning is not run by the purebloods. They're actually an entirely different, separate group of bad guys, and they're like a looming threat throughout the books. And in like the third book, it's like reference like, oh, something worse is coming, and the purebloods are the something worse. And so in the third, I think it's the third book, you constantly hear about this like Metalbeak that's attacking the good people or whatever. I'm oversimplifying this, but and he's like this like sort of like urban legend mythological figure. And then at the end of that book, big twist, you find out that Metalbeak is actually the brother. And so the character Metalbeak, and he killed the original leader and took over. And so the bad guy in the movie is that character that the brother killed, but we never see him in the books. They just made him into his own character in the movie.
I can see why they would have amalgamated some of those storylines for the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can understand.
And so then, the woman, the female, the guy's mate, she's actually the brother's mate in the book, and she's younger, and she's the one who essentially convinces him to kill the original guy. And in the book, he's just straight evil. Yeah, and it's like one of those like, yeah, man, this absolutely sounds like, I think this came out after I was reading those kind of books, but this absolutely sounds like something I would have read. I would have picked up from the library and read. Like the books do sound way more interesting. The movie does feel like a surface level idea of these books, but yeah, I was like, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. No,
yeah,
not the worst thing I saw this week.
What you've described to me in terms of the movie simplifying details definitely makes me think of like Percy Jackson or even Harry Potter, where it's like there's a lot more. There's details that were cut for the movie for obvious reasons, which I understand why they did, but it removes the teeth.
It reminds me of a lot of it gives me the impression without looking it up that these books are probably about that. Oh, you Spotify listeners, they're about the length of Animorphs or like a series of unfortunate events, like a young adult book, like not very thick. I could see that. Not very long book. These books are probably not very long.
Big print. Yeah. Big print. So it's like they might appear to be big, but they're not very long.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably at most like 8 hours,
Yeah,
7 hours.
yeah, exactly, right. One of those books where it's like, yeah, these books are not big enough to adapt on their own. There's not enough here to adapt on their own to make it into its own thing. But there's like, you know, and that's why they tend to amalgamate a couple of books, so they're just not long enough. I get that. That's why they tend to work better. That's why the Series of Unfortunate Events worked better as a television show. Because you can knock out 2 or 3 of those books in an episode, or 2 of the books in an episode, or like 1 book per episode. And I think this is another case where, yeah, same thing with Animorphs, where it's like these books would probably work better as a Netflix show. I think this is the one case where a 6-episode Netflix show probably serves these books the best.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. Especially for Animorphs. I mean, with Animorphs, you make those a 20 minute episode thing, like a normal TV show, and yeah, one of those books is definitely a 20-minute episode show.
For sure.
To the point where it can be done because it's been done.
Right. That's it. That's the Legend of the Guardians of it's the name. The name's bad. That's bad. It's a bad name.
So, the Guardians of Ga'Hoole. Is what you were trying to say.
Yeah, what's your next one?
But my next one. So, all animals are created equal.
Except for some are more equal than others.
Some are more equal than others. I watched the 1999 television film Animal Farm.
See, I was surprised that you didn't attempt to listen to the audiobook of Animal Farm.
I don't have it.
I know, but you could have got it.
Yeah, but I don't have any tokens.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
So as an aside, it's funny that this is a television film because it's got some decent sized names in there.
I mean, to be fair, I think it's a British television film, and that's an entirely different universe.
Country of origin. It says on this. It says country of origin, United States and United Kingdom.
Yeah, that tells me it was probably a BBC produced thing. They got the money. They got the money to get the big stars. Is the point?
I don't know, but anyway, so like it's got Kelsey Grammer, Julia Louise Dreyfus, Patrick Stewart. Yeah, that's right. It's got Patrick Stewart.
Patty Stew.
Patrick Stewart was in this.
It's got good old Patty Stew.
And the rest. And the animals. Fun fact: I didn't realize this. That I don't know if all of them. I think all of them. All of the animals are animatronics,
really?
Made by Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
I did not know that. It's been a while. The only thing I remember about that movie is that we watched it. We watched the live action one in class, and then there's a weird moment where the that's not from the book, where the farmer has sex with one of the neighbors, and it's weird and
has sex with the landlord's wife, basically. Yeah.
And it's weird. It was a weird scene that's not in the book.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's not really necessary to the story, so
right?
You could cut it.
Other than to make this movie PG-13 for some reason?
Like, it's just, I guess, supposed to really show that they're all shitty. Humans are shitty.
I guess.
It's funny because for those who don't know Animal Farm, Cold Notes version, the animals, it's Russian Revolution.
It's the Russian Revolution. It's a metaphor for the Russian Revolution. See, this is where I'm going to turn this into a video, and Jake's going to come into my comments. And be like, Animal Farm sucks.
It's not a metaphor. It's an allegory. Allegory.
It's all the same shit.
So yeah. You have the one pig who's like, animals should be free and humans are bad, and then the 3 disciples, he dies, 3 disciples take over. You got Napoleon, you've got
Napoleon is
the other one.
Who's
Napoleon is Stalin.
Stalin, thank you. Napoleon is Stalin.
Napoleon is Stalin.
Snowball.
Trotsky is his little weasel, and then you've got Snowball, who's like the only good one of them all. Unless I've got, yeah, and so they run out the good one, slowly take over. It becomes a dictatorship to the point where they have like um po- uh, uh what is it where a leader is talking on video to make people believe what he wants to believe.
Propaganda.
Propaganda. They start making propaganda films, and it slowly descends into
Two legs. It
dictatorship.
starts off. It's four legs. Two legs bad. Four legs good. And it's all animals are created equal.
Until it's eventually uh, four legs good, two legs better.
Two legs better.
And by the end of it, Napoleon is wearing the human clothes, and he's doing the human things, and he's talking the English language, and he's renamed the farm back to Manor Farm.
And in the book, it's like the animals had trouble telling apart who was human and who was animal.
And at the end of this one, it's supposed to have been like a long time, like years later. The dog is now blind, and Napoleon and the other one, Trotsky or whatever, have died because of their own greed and their own ruling and everything. And Jesse is like, there's a new family has purchased the farm, and Jesse's like, we're gonna help make sure they don't make the mistakes of Jones and Napoleon. And
I'm pretty sure that's different from the ending of the book. To be fair, it's been a very long time since I've read that book, but I'm pretty sure the book ends with them. It doesn't have a happy ending. I think they changed the ending of the movie to have a happy ending.
Apparently, the film won Best Special Effects.
Ooh. And then they
was nominated.
A horse and they turn him into glue, and it's very sad.
Oh, that's such a sad scene.
I gotta put that horse, turn him into glue.
Yeah, so interesting. Animals were built to represent the titular characters of Animal Farm at the Jim Henson's Creature Shop in London. 4 pigs, Old Major, Snowball, Napoleon, and Squealer. A Shire horse, Boxer. 2 mares, Molly and an unnamed black horse, which is and a Border Collie, Jesse, Rottweiler, Pinscher, and basically all the animals were
they're making
animatronics.
They're making it funny because when you talked about doing it this week, coincidentally, I didn't talk about it in the news because it's just nothing. It's just an image and it's not worth talking about. But they announced I guess they're doing a remake of this, and I saw people online be like, Seth Rogen as a communist pig, as if like Seth Rogen would say that the pig is the good guy when the point of the story is the pig is very much the bad guy. Like, Animal Farm is not a pro-communist book. It's very much an anti-communist book. At least that's how it was taught to us here in Canada.
I mean, well, it's supposed to be that Napoleon is the bad pig, and the idea is supposed to be that
if you're looking at the allegory, Stalin is bad. That's the point of the book.
Yeah, no, but I meant the first pig was supposed to have been like the good idealist one that ultimately it failed because it was a failed notion from the beginning. Not that he necessarily was bad. Napoleon was bad.
Yeah, exactly. This is a Stalin is the bad guy book. You know? Yeah, just say it.
But I'm saying the first pig, the one that got run off.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't.
No, he wasn't bad.
Snowball.
No. Snowball's that's what I'm saying. This is an anti-Stalin book. Like, it's very much communism bad.
Absolutely. Decent movie, though.
Oh, yeah, I remember it being okay.
Especially considering it's a television film.
Yeah. Jordan, is that it for Animal Farm?
All animals are created equal.
But some of them are
more equal than others.
4 legs good, and 2 legs better.
And no animal shall lie in a bed... ... with sheets.
With sheets.
That's Animal Farm.
So my next one, Jordan.
I'd watch a remake.
I would. I would. I will. Jordan, my next one. My next one is a little movie you may be familiar with, called Bambi.
Oh, this is definitely the worst one you watched, right?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, okay. Here's the thing about Bambi. Bambi, much older than I was expecting. 1942 it came out.
Yeah, I think it came out shortly after Snow White.
No, actually it's not I'll pull up the list and I'll tell you specifically which one. But it wasn't I thought it was. I was like, "Oh, this is like right after Snow White." No, like Dumbo and whatnot is in there.
Oh, right, Dumbo. I forgot about Dumbo.
But hold on.
Dumbo, Pinocchio. I believe, hold on, let me I believe it goes Snow White, Pinocchio, Dumbo, And then Bambi.
Oh, you're fucking close. You're missing one.
I'm missing one. I'm missing one. Cinderella.
No.
No.
No,
Hold on. Hold on.
no,
No, no, no,
wait,
no.
hold on, hold on, actually, hold on, maybe this list is bad. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, bear with me. Bear with me.
Because I know Cinderella is up there.
Bear with me, sorry. Because you're right, it was missing. Okay. No, no, I don't, I want animated. These lists all suck. Sorry. Bear with me an extra second. There we go. Okay.
Okay. So Snow White, Pinocchio, a Dumbo. I still think it's Cinderella. Is the next one after?
See, this list is frustrating because I just want animated. I don't want. It's throwing in the
Oh,
live action ones.
Lady and the Tramp might be somewhere in there. I
No,
think
the
that one's
one
pretty
you're
old.
missing is Fantasia.
I always forget about Fantasia.
So it goes.
But I was otherwise pretty right,
You
wasn't
were.
I?
It's Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia. This list has the Reluctant Dragon on it, Bumbo, and then Bambi. But this list also does not have. When was Cinderella? That list doesn't have Cinderella on it, which is what made me confused. 1950. So the original Cinderella came out in 1950. So wow, yeah, that's quite a ways. Pinocchio, Fantasia, Bambi, Salutes three. This list is confusing.
Anyways,
Anyway,
we get the
Bambi, yeah, 1942. And the big thing about Bambi, I realized as I was watching it, is I realized I haven't seen this movie since I was a child. Because all I remember about it is the first half of it is really whimsical and fun, and the music is really whimsical and fun.
I remember there. I was gonna say, I remember there being a scene where there's rain, and it was like da da la da 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 da
and
da.
it's just super whimsical and fun. And then I remember the second half of this movie being upsetting. And, like, I couldn't really remember why exactly. And now I remember why. Because the second half of this movie is upsetting. Well, okay. It does... the way early Disney movies animate is when scenes are meant to be conveyed as intense,
It gets loud, doesn't it?
The music gets really loud and aggressive. And the colors get really loud and aggressive. And they're really, like, dark, aggressive reds and oranges and yellows. And, like... everything becomes sharp and aggressive. I just don't know how else to describe it other than just aggressive. And it does it so there's a bit where like they're in the meadow or whatever, and it's the first time the hunter shows up, and they're running away from the hunter, and you see all these deer running, and it's just like they're all like really square looking. It's just it's very very, and the second half is all like that, where there's a sequence where it's like the Bambi and another adult deer are fighting over the girl, and it's like really loud, and like I think I sent you a clip of it where it's like shh, but it's also stunningly beautiful, and there's a reason why a lot of these early Disney movies still hold up, because it is stunningly animated. The deer, the way the animals move is incredible. And that's apparently because they brought in actual deer and actual rabbits and actual animals and watched them move around the studio. They had a deer that they called Bambi that they watched and they animated based off. And it reflects in the animation. Like when baby Bambi moves, he's awkward and he's fluid and it looks incredible. Like there really is a difference between arduous hand-drawn animation, and there's a reason why these early animated movies are always so short, is because like it reflects the work.
Absolutely. Which is why I say hashtag bring back more 2D animation.
Right. Thumper is also rude. He's just rude.
He's crude but rude.
My favorite bit is when it cuts after Bambi's mom dies, which is like it's really funny how we never used to care about kids when it came to animated movies, about what would traumatize them and what would be sad and upsetting. And when Bambi's mom dies, it's sufficiently upsetting. And you find out that there's that basically.
It's also, as I understand, when it comes to hunting, very illegal because you're not supposed to shoot the female deers.
That's what I thought. I googled it. Apparently, depending on the season and where you are, no, you can in fact shoot female deer.
Oh, well, that's upsetting.
I know.
Hunters, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But also I would say maybe don't shoot a mother with a calf.
A doe.
A doe. Like maybe don't do that. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah. They keep talking about this Prince of the Forest, who is, spoiler alert, Bambi's dad, and it's supposed to be this kind of twist, but like they keep calling him Young Prince, so they telegraph it pretty early. But after Bambi's mom dies, they do this moment.
You come with me, young prince.
Yeah, no, he goes, "Come with me, son." And the prince's whole job, by appearances, is to just walk through the forest stoically and look on stoically. And so then it cuts to the spring, and now Bambi's an adult, and they haven't seen him in a while, and all the Flower and Thumper, they're all adults now. And there's this really funny bit where the owl's like, "You're gonna get Twitter-pated." And it's like you could be walking along, just minding your own business, and then all of a sudden, Twitter-pated. And it's, you falling in love with another young rabbit or skunk or whatever, and all the guys pair off. And that's when Bambi fights the other adult deer or whatever. And the big climax of the movie is all the hunters come back hunting, and there's a big group of them, and they accidentally cause a fire, which Bambi and his dad stop and saves the day. And at the end of it, Bambi...
So you know what's funny? I don't know that I've ever seen the second half of Bambi. I feel like as a kid, they must have stopped it when it gets to the upsetting part because it was too upsetting for me.
I certainly don't remember any of that. No, I did not.
No memory of that second half. Like nothing. I don't remember ever seeing any of the adult characters.
I did. I remember. Well, I remember once he becomes an adult, and I remember the fight sequence. And I vaguely remember the fire because it's all that bright orange, dark red. It's meant to be really intense. I remember all of that, but I don't remember the dialogue about man and them coming back in a group and any of that. No, I don't remember any of that. But the movie ends though with the current Prince of the Forest being like, it's time for Bambi to become the new Prince of the Forest, and you can tell that Bambi is ready to be the new Prince of the Forest because he stands stoically over a ridge, looking stoically off into the distance. Stoically. That's how you know he's ready. But no, yeah, I had a good time. I was like, oh, this is good. I understand why this upset me as a child. I've just explained a lot of childhood trauma I had. That's it. That's Bambi. Not the worst movie. We're not there yet.
So I figure, by the way, we'll play the same game. You'll know which one is the worst one that I watched, so we haven't got there yet.
I mean, I could guess it outright.
You probably could, but that's no fun.
I have my suspicion.
But my last rapid fire is
any of the ones you had talked about thus far, the worst one?
No.
No, I didn't think
not even close. No. Not even in the same league.
No, I didn't think so. No.
Honestly, joking aside, of all the ones I watched this week, there's only really one which I would say was bad.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, legit. I know that like it's not either of the have not scenes, but one of my have not scenes is Peter Rabbit. And you would think I would say Peter Rabbit, but I actually quite like Peter Rabbit. So like, spoiler alert, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not Peter Rabbit.
But anyways, Babe. So I watched one movie about a farm, which was just, dictatorship Russia. And then I watched one which was, a nice, fun family, a pig who has a happy ending.
Pig gets a happy ending.
Two very different pig movies.
Pig
but
doesn't have to be. He doesn't end up becoming bacon. It's a movie about how a pig doesn't end up becoming bacon.
It's a movie about a pig who becomes a sheep pig. And instead of like, being aggressive like the dogs have to be, he just asks the sheep to move for him, and they do.
Hey.
And then the farmer takes him to a sheepdog competition, and he pulls an Air Bud where he's like, "Ref, show me where in the rules that it says I can't have a pig as my sheepdog." And they reluctantly are like, "Well, I mean, he's right. It doesn't say in the rules that he can't have it." And so then they let him, and he wins the competition, and it's a happy ending.
And it's like you're like it's just solid animal training. You know, like, oh, it's good animal acting. Got to appreciate good animal acting. I believe that movie contains an actual pig. It's not a CGI animal.
The main animal characters are played by both real animals and animatronic puppets.
Oh yeah, You're loving it when they're using real animals.
So it's a mixture of both.
Actually, funny enough. No, we'll get there.
But I will say, as a kid who grew up in the 95s, it was very distracting that it was just Chucky from Rugrats.
Yeah. That would be distracting.
But yeah, it's apparently based on a novel called The Sheep Pig.
But a pig who's a sheep.
But yeah, I don't have much more to say about it. I mean, it was very successful, which is why it got a sequel. Budget 30 million, box office 254.1 million.
All right.
Yeah, it's fun.
Jordan, was it the worst movie you'd seen this week?
No.
Jordan, my next movie.
Your last rapid fire?
My last rapid fire. So Jordan, as I'm sitting here, I knew when it came to talking animal movies, I want talking animal movies. I wanted to talk about Dr. Dolittle, the Eddie Murphy movies. And I was just sitting here thinking, I'm like, I don't think
Pull.
I don't think the original Rex Harrison Dr. Dolittle movie, which I believe I watched for this show.
I believe you did.
That's not a talking animal movie. Because animals, despite the fact that he talks to animals, the animals do not talk in that movie. The Eddie Murphy ones are a talking animal movie though, and I watched. I didn't want. I like Doctor Dolittle one, but my favorite Doctor Dolittle movie is Doctor Dolittle 2. So I watched Doctor Dolittle 2, and I love this movie. I think this movie is very funny. And a fun fact about this movie: the bear, one of the bears in this movie is also in The Zookeeper as an adult bear. He's like a little baby bear in this movie, and then he shows up as an older bear. It's the same bear.
It's just the same, like, real life bear, or same character?
No,
bear?
Same real life bear, same actor.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
And Dr. Dolittle 2. I love Dr. Dolittle 2. I quote Dr. Dolittle 2 all the time. My favorite bit is, Jordan, do I look like I care? Jordan, look at me. Do I look like I care? Jordan, look. Jordan, not looking at me. Jordan, look at me. Do I look like I care? I don't care.
No?
I don't care, Jordan. I don't care. Yeah, no, I quote this movie all the time. He's a freaking weasel. No, I mean, he's quite literally a weasel.
I mean, my favorite is probably always going to be where does he think he's shoving that thermometer? Hell!
That's the first one, but that's also funny.
Yeah. On top of Old Smoky.
The second one is Dr. Dolittle is now popular and famous because he helps both people and animals, and the beaver, the mafia beaver, the Don Beaver, head of the animal mafia, who is just a simple fisherman, brings in Dr. Dolittle because the evil governor or mayor or whomever wants to destroy the forest and replace it. So Dr. Dolittle discovers that there is in fact a rare bear that lives in the forest, played by Phoebe from Friends, and if he gets Archie, a bear from a circus, to procreate the species, they will be able to save the forest. And so Dr. Dolittle has to train this bear to be like a regular bear. He gets permission from this judge. He gets an injunction to not knock down this forest. If he can basically train this bear to become a regular, a normal bear, and
a stud.
Yeah, and be a bear in the woods. And of course the bear doesn't want to, because why would the bear want to? Living in the woods sucks. And the movie really made me think of for those of you who are familiar with the movie Free Willy, this is kind of an aside, but it's connected. I watched a documentary about the whale that played Free Willy in the movie, and how after that movie came out, there was an effort given to releasing that whale into the wild. and I'm pretty sure it was Iceland. Iceland, one of the Nordic countries, is where he was from, and they didn't want him back because over there, killer whales are considered to be a nuisance animal, and so they didn't want him back. They only took him back on the condition that they absolutely trained him and that he didn't hassle anybody, and so they tried to train this whale, and they put him in this massive area, what was essentially like a big cage, and they would take him on walks, and he didn't want to eat dead fish, so they would give him like warm, like live fish or whatever, and he didn't want to
cage. A cage by any other name is still a cage.
But it made me think of this movie. This movie made me think of that, where it's like, yeah, why would you? Why would you want to go back to the wild and sleep in the cold and get wet and do all that when you're being fed every day? Like, what sucks? But yeah, the movie's very funny. Eddie Murphy's very funny. There's a Norm Macdonald, R.I.P., very funny as the dog. Cute.
Yeah.
Young Raven Simone plays the daughter, and there's kind of a fun twist. Spoiler alert! But there's a fun twist where the entire movie, his youngest daughter wants to be the one to be able to talk to animals, and then it turns out that Raven Simone's character is the one who can now talk to animals. And
doesn't she come back for like the third one, and then it's about her?
Yeah, the young daughter. I don't know if it's the same character, but the actress definitely came back to do a third one, and in that one she can now talk to animals. So apparently her ability was just delayed. At least I think she can. I don't know. I've never seen it.
So here's the real question, Justin. Do you think Charles Xavier would accept them at his mansion because they're mutant freaks who can speak to animals?
I think he would. Yeah, I think he would.
Yeah.
But it is genuinely kind of a good twist, like that you only like. It just kind of seems like she's being an angsty teenager, and then there's a moment where she starts to get kind of weird. But like, you honestly, if you didn't know it was coming, it's honestly not a bad twist. I love this movie. I'll never forget the first time I watched, just dying laughing at the bit where he's in the bathroom, and
but see, this is where we have to really throw the contention in the ring here of, is this a talking animal movie? Because the animals aren't talking; they're just speaking animal. The human is speaking animal.
I mean, yes, it counts because we as the audience see the animals talking. And it's funny, I think I discovered with talking animal movies that kind of became weird for me, is like, the minute you anthropomorphize animals and you give it so they have human morality and human speech, them eating each other becomes weird. Like,
yeah, just
how do you eat something that can talk back to you? It's one of the things, not to go back to Beastars, but it's one of the things I appreciated about Beastars, where it was like, yeah, that's kind of murder at that point. When the thing has enough conscience to know that it doesn't want to be eaten, it becomes uncool to eat.
Yeah, and they treat it as such.
Right. But no, I enjoy it. It's easily my favorite Dr. Dolittle movie. I quite love it. The bear is very funny. It's all very funny. I laughed. It's sweet when he gets together and everything turns out okay. It's a romp, as we often say. And no,
it's a romp.
It is not the worst. It's not the worst one I saw this week.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not the worst one?
Yeah, no, we're coming down to it now. And you know what? I'm gonna give you an option, Jordan. I'm gonna give you an option when we get there. But I believe we are into have scenes.
We are into have scenes. So 2008, I'm a year away from graduating high school, and I didn't realize it was that old, by the way, but a little movie called Bolt comes out.
Yeah.
This movie's cute. It's a delightful little romp.
Disney Animation Studios' first animated movie. That's the studio that eventually would do Rapunzel and Tangled and Frozen. I believe this is the first one. Pretty sure.
I'm not sure, but I could believe it. Too lazy to actually look it up. But
yeah, Miley Cyrus, John Travolta is the dog. Dog thinks he's a superstar.
Yeah. Well, the dog has lived his entire life thinking one thing and then finds out another, and it's a cross country thing where he's with the cat and the hamster.
The hamster. Disney really thought they had something with that hamster. That hamster was everywhere for a while.
And it is fun. So it's a really, really fun little, cute little talking animal movie. Did fairly well. Kind of surprised they never made some sort of sequel or spin-off or something with it, because It had a budget of 150 million and it made 310 million back.
I mean, I think I don't know what else what would you do with a sequel?
Uh,
I think so. He actually has superpowers
Depends.
this time. That's what I would do.
Depends on whether or not you like. If it's a prequel, you could have some of the adventures on the show and just turn it into a show, like a meta show where we're watching the Bolt show, like
Yeah, that'd
on
be kind of
Disney
fun.
Plus.
I guess that'd be kind of fun.
Um,
You'd have to
where
recast though.
you take, yeah, sure, but I feel like you get away with it.
Yeah.
Especially considering at the end they quote unquote recast Penny and Bolt in the show, so that could be then the show is the recast version of the show, and then you can have the different actor and people playing those characters, and it's because they're not the Bolt and Penny from the movie. They're the TV version, you know what I mean? Like you could totally do that.
I could see that. I could believe it. I could believe
And
it.
I think that'd be kind of funny.
I could believe it.
But no, yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I don't have much more to say about it. It's a Disney.
Okay. It's a Disney. So Jordan, should I end with the worst movie I saw this week, or should we do that next?
Is it a have seen?
It is.
End your have scenes with it, because then I'll begin my have not scenes with it.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so my next one is a little movie called Rango.
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 That must be a completely different movie than Rango.
Rango, starring Johnny Depp, and Isla Fisher, and Ned Beatty is the bad guy, and the rest whose names are escaping me. And Rango is a little lizard who's theatrically minded, who is in a terrarium, and because for one reason or another,
crazy, isn't he?
Sorry, what?
Said he's also crazy, isn't he?
Not really. He just doesn't have an identity because he's always lived in a terrarium by himself. So he starts off the movie like he's like acting with nobody, but so his desire is to blend. So he just kind of tells people what they want to hear to blend. So he winds up. This movie is a Western, first of all.
It's fun. I never thought about it like that. That's funny. That's actually, yeah. That's because he's a lizard.
Because he's a chameleon, yeah. So Johnny Depp plays this little lizard who doesn't have a name. And the other thing I didn't realize the first time, his name isn't Rango at first. He doesn't have a name. It isn't until he winds up at the town that he gives himself the name Rango. But yeah, it's a Western about how he shows up in this little town called Dirt, and he claims he's this big bad Western outlaw. And he becomes the sheriff of the town, who is for some reason or another running out of water. But one of the town lady has found that they're like for some reason dumping water into the desert for some reason. And the Johnny Depp he accidentally kills this hawk, which is preventing this old like Wild West style bandit from coming to town, Jake the Snake, played by Bill Nighy, who is Davy Jones from the Pirates movies. And
doesn't he have a little mustache too?
He does have a little mustache. The movie's kind of weird because it's like, yeah, this town exists, but also humans exist. So at the beginning of the movie, he gets tossed out of his car, and one of the cars he crashes into is the Johnny Depp's character from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's funny.
And so he's.
I haven't seen the movie since we watched it back in theaters, back in whenever the year it was that it came out.
It's very weird because, like, yeah, humans exist in this world, and part of it is why their water is being blocked off is because the release valve for the water from Vegas, the city of Vegas, is not being released into the desert because the bad guy of the movie is preventing it from happening. So humans exist in this world, but all of the animals are anthropomorphic and all wear clothes and act like humans in a like Western town. So it's like is that just how we, the audience, see it? Like, if the humans
I
walk
choose
by,
to-
would they just see would they see nothing? What are we seeing? I don't understand.
I choose to believe that it's just this one town, and all the other animals of the world are animals, and it's just because it's in the middle of the desert, the humans never see it.
Well, that's what's weird. The hawk acts like a regular hawk, but then the snake shows up, and his gun, his tail, he's a rattlesnake, and his rattle is a gun, and like he's got a little mustache and a little hat, and they've got guns that they're using, and like the main the whole plot is a real estate scam, and so it's like. So they have a concept of real estate that's tied into the human city. So the motivations it's confusing. But the interesting thing about this one is they filmed the whole movie. It's kind of like a Fantastic Mr. Fox, where the actors film the whole movie like for reference, like in real life.
Oh yeah, so there's behind the scenes stuff where you see Johnny Depp as Rango.
Yeah. Or the guy is the lizard. Yeah, that's the snake. It's really kind of funny. And there's
I almost want them to hashtag release the live action Rango.
You could watch it, at least some of it on YouTube. It's pretty fun. But yeah, so early on he runs into this it's called roadkill, but it's like this armadillo that's been crushed, and he wants to get to the other side, which is just the other side of the highway, to see the spirit of the West, the spirit of the West. And so at the end of the movie, when obviously the town finds out that Rango is a fraud, and spoiler alert, the mayor is the bad guy. He's the one who's been blocking off the water. And so Rango he's decided he's going to try to get to the other side of the highway, the other side. So he gets to the other side and he finds the spirit of the West. And for him, you discover that the spirit of the West appears differently to different people. But to Rango, he appears as Clint Eastwood from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. He's like, oh, you're known as a man with no name, but now I have no name. And I was like, that's pretty good. And he's played by Timothy Olyphant, but he looks like Clint Eastwood.
That's funny.
And then, the movie ends with Jake, the bad guy. He respects Rango because Rango stands up, or he ends up beating the mayor by killing him. And it's that kind of kid's movie where like he's like, if you come back here, I'll drag you to hell. So it's allowed to be a little bit darker. Jake the Snake is actually kind of legitimately like scary a little bit.
Intimidating.
Yeah, like if I were watching this as a kid, I'm like, it's quite well received. People say Johnny Depp's performance, it's genuine, really good. It's quite a funny little quirky little movie that absolutely I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's totally worth it. It's quite, I was impressed by how much I was like, this is actually quite good. I'm quite enjoying this. This is quite good. Guess what, Jordan? It's not the worst movie I saw this week. I'm surprised you haven't guessed it yet.
I don't remember what movies you watched.
You're gonna find out.
So I can't guess it. I mean, I could if I looked up your list. I'm sure by now I could definitely have guessed it.
I mean,
but
there's only one left, so process of elimination would tell you.
So I guess it's my turn then.
It is, yeah.
For me to talk about my last half scene.
His last scene.
And let me just say, I like to move it. He likes to move it. He likes to move it. He likes to move it.
Yeah, that's quite enough of that.
I watched Madagascar, the first one, and yeah, you know they start off fun. These movies.
I mean, I quite enjoy.
I dislike the penguins. I dislike the penguins pretty much right from the beginning. I think they're irritating characters, but
yeah, they're so annoying.
So Ben
penguins.
Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, and Jada Pinkett Smith are the main cast, and they're fun. Chris Rock's character, the zebra, fucks it up for the rest of them and gets them all shipped away, and then they end up in Madagascar, where they run into King Julian, who is played King Julian.
He's played
by Sacha Baron Cohen. By Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yes, he is.
He's a ring-tailed lemur.
Yes, he is. And
He's the leader of the. He's the leader of Madagascar's lemur community.
Yeah, he is a particular thing, but delusional is one of them. He has delusions of grandeur. That's it.
Also, fun fact: King Julian was initially meant to be a two-line character until Baron Cohen improvised 8 minutes of dialogue in an Indian accent.
Is that the accent he's doing? I guess that is the accent he's doing.
That's what Wikipedia says it is, and I would say it's offensive.
That feels offensive.
Yeah,
I've never liked those movies. I've never liked them.
I don't mind the first two. It's after that that I'm like, I can't.
You always bring up the second one. That's true. Moto, I like them big. I like them chunky.
I like them chunky.
I like them big. I like them chunky. That's funny. Moto's funny. Moto. He's funny. The third one's bad, though. The third one's legitimately bad.
Well, this feels like a prequel for next week, but the film was a commercial success. Opening weekend, it grossed 47 million, something like that.
I mean, there's a reason
making it the number 3 movie of that weekend, behind Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith.
That makes sense. Yeah,
and the longest yard. There's a reason there's been like 5 of them.
Technically, I think there's only been 3.
Nope. There's been the first 3. Then you have the Penguins of Madagascar movie.
Yeah.
So there's been 4, and then the show.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's been 3 and then Penguins of Madagascar.
Two different shows.
I might have to.
No, Justin. There's a Penguin of Madagascar show, apparently, from what I was reading, and there's a Penguin of Madagascar movie.
Yeah, no, they both suck. The movie's bad.
Right, but you're saying so there's 3 plus the Penguins of Madagascar. No, there's 3 plus the Penguins of Madagascar movie and show, and a King Julian show. Yeah, so there has technically been 6 Madagascar products.
I was just talking movies. There's only been 3 movies.
No, there's been 4. One of them is Penguins of Madagascar.
3 movies and 1 Penguins of Madagascar. I don't count the Penguins of Madagascar as a Madagascar movie. It's a Penguins of Madagascar movie. It's not a Madagascar movie. It's a Penguins of Madagascar movie.
I mean, it's all the same thing.
But yes, the Penguins of Madagascar movie is very bad. It's very, very bad.
I wouldn't know. I've never watched it.
All I remember about it is it being agitatingly terrible. But to be fair, I
remember
that franchise.
I remember the third one being bad. So
that third one was bad. I just remember it being bad.
This one's not bad though. This one's fine. All things considered. Like, I do appreciate how
Jordan,
in this one, I do appreciate, don't interrupt please, how in this one, like, there's the scene where they're in Central Station, and they're talking, like, to themselves, and we can hear them, but then they specifically have the scene where he's trying to talk to them, and we see that, like, they see it as him roaring, and funny. It's like, I appreciate that. I appreciate that there's no question of, oh, can the humans understand them?
But Jordan,
what's going on there?
He's not white with black stripes. He's black with white stripes.
And he looks delicious.
He does. He does look like a big, juicy. If I were a lion, I'd take a big old bite of that. Jordan, is that it for Penguins of Madagascar?
I mean, what else is there to say? Although I do find it funny, find the end of the movie funny when they're on the ship and they're like, bye everyone, and it's like the one time where I found the penguins funny is when Skipper or whatever, one of the penguins leans into the other ones and is like, should we tell them that there's no gas left in it? And he's like, nah, they'll figure it out.
I will say, yeah, the penguins do have the occasional line that does make me laugh.
It makes me chuckle.
The fact that
I don't mind them. I don't mind them as tertiary characters. The idea that they get their own thing just boggles the mind. Well, to me is in terms of ridiculousness and outlandishness. It's the same as when I found out that they were going to make a Minions movie, and I'm like, how?
I can't. The show bothers me because the show they're back in the zoo. Which you're like, oh, okay, so it's a prequel. But no, it's not a prequel, because for some reason the fucking lemur characters are there. Like, okay, so this clearly takes place after the show. But no, because Alex, the lion, the giraffe, the hippo, and the lion characters are not there, because obviously they couldn't afford although they don't have any of the celebrity voice cast, because they're all they're all sound alikes anyway. But like, yeah, it doesn't have the main cast, so it's like, oh, okay, so this takes place after the show. But then none of the movies ever explain why the penguins go back to the zoo. So like, oh, surely maybe their spin-off movie does it, but no, the spin-off movie never explains why they go back to the zoo. And then it's the only time I find myself going,
okay, Justin,
hold on. It's the only time I find myself going, this is a children's franchise, Justin. What are you doing? Why are you concerning yourself with the continuity of a children's franchise? But it always bothers me.
You need to, not even just of a children's franchise, but of a tertiary characters of the children's franchise.
Well, no, because they got 2 of their own projects. It's annoying.
Yeah, they're
At least the King Julian show had the decency to be a prequel.
They're still tertiary characters, Justin.
But no, they have a lot of my favorite lines are from the second one, where it's where they're in the planes, like, we wanted to let you all know that we're landing. Actually, we're crash landing.
Unfortunately, it's a crash landing.
Yeah, that's funny. I will admit that's funny. Jordan, are you ready? Are you ready to find out what the worst movie I watched this week was? The only movie that I would legitimately be like, my God, this is a bad movie. Is your body?
I think I'm ready.
Jordan, it was Fluke. It was Fluke the whole time.
Oh,
Fluke is a very bad Fluke. I guarantee you have not watched Fluke since you were a child. I promise you, Jordan, it's a bad movie. Like not even.
I remember it being a sad movie.
It is. Not only is it relentlessly sad, but like, okay, I wouldn't. This is where the question for me. I don't think it's a talking animal movie, because like, for the first 15 minutes of that. Okay, how should I do this? I guess I need to for the youngins, for the Gen Zers who might not know what Fluke is. I guess I'm gonna have to describe what Fluke is. Fluke is a 1995-1996 movie about a guy who dies and is reincarnated as a dog, and suddenly begins to, as a dog, remember his life as a human, and reconnects with his family as he rediscovers the memories of being a human, and has to learn to let go of his family and move on. And they don't really talk. Like, it's sort of implied that like they're like, it's not that Fluke and the Rumbo, who's played by Samuel L. Jackson, it's not that they're talking dogs. It's that they're dogs with the spirit of humans, and that's why they can talk. So like, he can't actually talk to other animals. He can only talk to other animals who used to be human.
To other reincarnated people, basically.
Yeah, to other reincarnated people. Because at the end of the movie, he's like, oh, if there are other people like me out there, maybe I'll be able to communicate to them. And the first, like...
And doesn't Rambo show up again at the end as like a bird or something now?
Squirrel. As a squirrel now.
Squirrel, that was it.
And it's just... Everything about it is relentlessly and just sad. Like, the first 15 minutes of the movie, the dog doesn't talk. And it's just 15 minutes of what I would characterize as not a talking animal movie, but a really sad dog movie, where it's like his life is just a parade of sadness. First, his mom gets taken, and then he winds up with an old homeless lady who dies, and then he winds up in a lab testing like makeup on animals, and then his best dog friend dies. Like, it just becomes, it's like, and like, it's not even like when it becomes happy, it's whimsical, because the score is so sad. It's like a down note sad score, so everything is sad. And like, the dog doesn't even have fun lines. It's not even like he's having fun dog dialogue. A lot of it is just like the actor Matthew Modine doing long monologues where you don't even realize, like, what I learned that day was that I had to let go of my family, and I had to accept the life that had been given me and not hold it. Like that. It's like just really like flat, soulless, toneless monologuing about how everything is uplifting and whimsical, and life is magical, and I was legit the most awful person alive, and maybe I kind of deserved it a little bit. Because like the big thing is the whole movie, you think that the best friend killed him. Or at least the movie wants you to think that the best friend killed him.
Stole his wife and killed him, basically.
Yeah. And then you find out that no, the best friend's actually a good guy, and that he killed himself by like dangerously pulling in front of a thing. He's like, oh yeah, I
Wasn't
smoked a
he
bunch.
drunk driving?
No, it's the guy goes to visit him, or he's working late and he's supposed to meet the wife, and you can tell he's a bad guy because he's chain smoking cigarettes. But like he's like, I'm an awful Scrooge like boss, and I can't meet my wife. And the best friend's like, dude, like we started this off with idealistic intentions, and this wasn't supposed to be about profit. And he's like, nah, profit, I'm evil. And then the guy like leaves, and he's like, we're not done having this argument. And then he chases after him, and he's driving after him. He's like, pull over. And he's like, no. And then a truck pulls out of nowhere, comes out of nowhere, and he goes to pull off, and he flies off of the road, and you find out
Into a tree.
into a tree, and then you find out that the best friend was the one who found him and like was there when he died. And like he's like, no, I have to leave for some reason. I can't stay with you and just be a dog. I have to leave and leave you behind now and go off. And you could just tell that at one point that probably he died at the end, and that in test screenings it was probably changed because it was too sad. And just at the time, it's funny because I don't ever remember liking this movie. Ever. I never remember liking this movie. I don't think I've ever liked this movie. And I was just watching it, I'm like, yeah, this movie is, again, relentlessly sad, really boring, not very funny. I won't lie and say there aren't a couple of moments that are kind of funny. But it's just overall, it's just a bad movie. It's just a bad movie.
I mean, it was one that I remember putting on because you thought the dog was cute.
Yeah, but
Like that was kind of it.
if you can't stand the sound of dogs crying, it's not the movie. Like,
Yeah.
I would say it's the saddest dog movie I've ever seen, except for Marley and Me Exists.
I was gonna say no. Marley and Me gets that slot.
That is the saddest dog movie of all time. But there's nothing. Don't give me comments suggesting saddest dog movies. Like, don't be like, this is a much sadder dog movie.
Don't give us an episode idea where we each have to watch the saddest animal/dog movies and give us a bunch of sad animal dog movie suggestions.
Don't need
because
that.
we don't need that in our lives. That's way too sad.
This movie was aggressively depressing.
Maybe when we have 20,000 followers and they're all suggesting that, then maybe we'll consider.
But no, it's like, yeah, it's not even that the content of the movie, it's just the way it's framed and shot. Like I say, the score. The music is so depressing. It's so sad. Like, it does this thing where it's supposed to be a happy moment, but the music is sad. It's sad music. It's bizarre. Just a bad movie. Just a bad movie, Jordan. Worst movie I saw this week, by a country mile.
All right.
It's funny. I thought it was going to be The Wild. I was positive it was going to be The Wild, but no, it's like, it was the first time I went, I don't think this is a talking animal movie. It just doesn't feel like a talking animal movie. It feels like a really up its own ass spiritual movie. Like, it's just, yeah, it was bad. It's bad. That's it. That's Fluke. That's the end of Fluke.
So I suppose we should then move into have not scenes. And Justin, oh, sweet dear Justin, can you guess what the name? Can you tell the audience what the name of the worst movie that I watched this week was?
It's Barnyard, right? That's the name of it? Barnyard?
Yes. I
thought it was like
Barnyard.
Back at the Barnyard.
Also known as Barnyard, the original Party Animals.
Yeah, that movie looked bad. Why does a male cow have udders?
That's a great question.
Why does a male cow have
multiple
udders?
all the
Is he
male
a transgender cow?
All the male cows have udders, even though they're bulls. Like, they're male. They don't. That's not how anything works.
I was a bad person. I don't know. Is that an appropriate joke? Does Barnyard contain transgender cow?
When you look up why, I'm not going to address that. When you look up why on Google, it says that the director or creator or whatever did it just because he thought it would be funny.
I mean,
which is not. It's stupid.
I mean, that's the reason why. That's an odd reason why.
From what I looked up, that's what I read.
We're here to confuse children.
This came out in 2006, and it looks like it came out in 1977 because the animation is awful.
I mean, there's no way.
Awful.
It's a 3D animated movie. No, it can't possibly look like it came out in 1977. That predates.
No,
1997.
That's how bad it is.
So
is
it's
it looks
so
like it's so bad that it looks like they have retroactively gone back in time and created animation that much earlier, and it looks that much worse than it would have when it came out in the 90s.
okay. So they created
Um,
time travel instead of benefiting it from financially. They went back in time to make a shitty movie about a male transgender cow.
a male cow, yes.
He's a male. He's a transgender cow, Jory.
So it's got an ensemble cast. It's got Kevin James, Courtney Cox, Sam Elliott, Danny Glover,
Is Kevin
Wanda
James the
Sykes.
cow?
Kevin James?
Yeah, is he the main cow? Is he the male cow?
I'm pretty sure he's
I
the
was
main
gonna
male
say,
cow.
how did I know that he was the cow?
Hold on, I'll look at the actual character casts. Yeah, he's Otis.
He's the cow, right? Yeah.
He's a carefree Holstein cow and adoptive son of Ben. Um, Courtney Cox is a cow. Sam Elliott is a cow. He's the dad cow, the adoptive dad cow.
So he's a bull.
Et cetera, et cetera. Yes, he is. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, yeah, point of the movie is Kevin James's character doesn't want to be the leader. He doesn't want to be responsible. He just wants to hang out and party and have fun. And on this farm, there was a cow, E-I-E-I-O. No. When the farmer goes away, all the animals come out to play. And so then meanwhile the adoptive dad character, he's the leader, and he protects the farm from all the coyotes, the coyotes, and he eventually dies to the coyotes, and Kevin James has to then be the leader and protect the farm from the coyotes, and but they're
Even though
smart
he's very
animals.
specifically a prey animal.
Yep. He's got no, but Justin, he's a bull.
This makes sense.
He's a bull. That makes him aggressive.
But he's not a bull. He's a
Makes
cow.
him- No, Justin, he's a bull. He's a male. He's a bull.
But,
I know he has udders for some reason in this,
but he has udders.
but he's a male,
But he-
and he is a bull. Even though they refer to them as cows, he's a male, and male cows don't exist.
Just saying, he's
Ergo.
a transgender cow. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him being a transgender cow. It's just a point of fact. He's clearly a transgender cow.
All I know is that in this movie, the humans look like abominations, the animals don't look much better, and it's not a very good movie.
No. What year did this come out? Does this predate Jimmy Neutron?
This came out in 2006. I don't know if it predates
No, it
that.
doesn't. Jimmy Neutron looks way better. To be fair, there's a point in like 2006 where 3D animated movies got dire, man.
But it's produced, written, and directed by Steve Odekirk, who I believe did make Jimmy Neutron.
That makes sense. Yeah. This eventually became a TV show that lasted for like ever, I think. The kids like
Yeah, so yeah, it the Wikipedia says it tells the story of Otis, a carefree Holstein cow, and then in brackets it says actually a male bullock with an udder. For some reason.
Italian. Transgender cow, Jordan.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Although, I mean, it didn't fail technically speaking because it had a budget of 51 million, which is insane for the quality of what it was. But it had a box office of, because yes, this was a theatrical movie, which is a horrifying prospect.
Yep.
It had a box office of 116.5
fun fact, kids.
to 118.6 million.
Before they had before these movies would have gone straight to streaming, which is exactly where that movie would have gone if it came out today. They used to put crap movies in the theaters just cause.
And for the record, the show was 2 seasons.
Oh. I just remember always seeing it on YTV. Maybe it's just like it made it into syndication and they just run it endlessly in syndication. But it always just seemed like it was always on. Like really,
It was Nickelodeon.
In Canada, that would have been on the YTV.
But yeah, there's not much more to say about this one. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad. It's
not
upsettingly bad.
it's not very good.
It was the worst thing I watched all week, and I was happy when I didn't. And it's funny because when I picked it, I knew it would be. I knew it would be, and it was. It was every bit as bad as I thought it would be,
And it was. Yeah, I knew it would be bad. And it was.
and it was.
And it was. All right. So, I gotta say, a couple of mine I expected to be bad, and then they weren't. So my first have not seen is a little movie called Peter Rabbit, starring James Corden. James Corden. And look, I know that James Corden is allegedly a dick. And, like, I've never disliked him. The first time I discovered James Corden was when he was on Doctor Who. Yeah. And so it was always weird to me, hey, the guy from Doctor Who is hosting a late night show. And so I don't dislike him. I do think that he is wildly miscast for this character.
What's funny, sorry, real quick. What's funny about that is I knew him from Doctor Who first as well, but it took me way too long to make the connection that he was the same person.
That's funny.
That because I didn't know when he was on Doctor Who. I had no idea who he was.
No.
Yeah, I just knew him as a character that was on Doctor Who.
He's
So
crazy.
then when he started popping up in other things and on late night and stuff, and I saw him. It took me years to realize that he was the same guy.
Now, I've never disliked him. I've never disliked him. I know lots of people who do. I've never been one of them. So I didn't go into this automatically being like, ooh, boo, James Corden. Now, I will say he is miscast for his character, for what they're going for. His voice and energy and the dialogue, the storyline. He's like, okay. Peter Rabbit is the story of little Peter Rabbit. He wears a little blue coat, and he tries to get into Mr. McGregor's farm, and he gets into mischief. That's his whole bit. And his books, there's various animal characters.
Doesn't he specifically try to get into his garden to get his carrots?
His carrots, yeah. And he's populated by various animal characters, all of whom have little coats and little clothes on. And it's very confusing because at times characters will address the fact that the rabbits are wearing clothes, but won't address why or how, or like, and like the characters, it seems to want to do a thing where it's like, okay, no, because okay, the movie is basically about how the old Mr. McGregor dies and his great nephew or whatever moves in. And the neighbor is now a self-insert character called B, who is based on the author of the original Peter Rabbit books. And so she is a neighbor who is like friends with the rabbits and like paints them. And her paintings are like the artwork from the original books. And the plot of the second movie is that she has written the books based on him. So she's essentially the author of the original books. And so at times, the movie seems to imply that, like, only she sees them as wearing clothes, but they are otherwise regular rabbits. So, like, the whole movie is basically, like, the new Mr. McGregor and her are starting to fall in love, and Peter Rabbit is jealous because he has both his parents died because they were killed by the original Mr. McGregor and eaten. And so he sees her as, like, a pseudo-mother figure. And so, as like a jealous child, he doesn't want them to get together. And at the big spoiler, but the climax of the movie is he drives the Mr. McGregor crazy enough to where Mr. McGregor lays a bunch of dynamite or whatever in their little hovel, their little hole, and their little tree, blows it up and destroys her house. And she's really pissed, obviously. She's like, you said you weren't, like, you were friends, or because he's been pretending to be friends with them the whole time, being nice to them, while secretly, like, trying to get them. And so the tree blows up, destroys her house. And he's like, I hate to be that guy, but the rabbit did it. He's got the explosive. He has the detonator. He hit the button. He's the one who did it. and she gets really pissed, and she's like, "He's a rabbit," kind of implying that like when you see him, she just sees a regular rabbit. But then in the next scene, she's like adjusting his coat. So, there's like a pig. There's a pig character who's really funny. He's this like really like formal, like polished, posh character who every once in a while wigs out and like eats food and goes crazy or whatever. But he's wearing a little purple jacket, and no one addresses it. So is it like, why are they wearing clothes but seem to be? And so then at the end of the movie, Peter Rabbit reveals or talks to Mr. McGregor in order to get him to come back, and it's revealed that they all can talk. But it's never made clear earlier that it's like, oh, they can talk, they just choose not to. It's very weird. It's like, okay, no, they're just regular animals, but like we're seeing animal behavior as anthropomorphism. But no, they are actually. It's very confusing. But it's a funny movie. Like I laughed. I legit laughed. Like there's a really funny, a legit, very funny subplot where there's a rooster. And every time the sun comes up, he's like, "Oh my God, can you believe it? The sun's coming up again. Oh my God, it's happening. Can you believe it? I never expected this to happen. You expect it's happening."
And it cuts back and it's...
No. So then the next day it cuts. And he's like, "Oh my God, it's happening again. That like the sun is. I don't know what's going on here. I don't. If I knew this was gonna happen, I wouldn't have fertilized all those eggs. Oh my gosh, I'm a father now. I'm gonna be responsible for all these children." And then the third time it cuts back to them, he's now passed out, and all the chickens, and he's got a bunch of little chicks around him, and they're all trying to crow now.
That's funny.
But it's like it's one of those like I get. Some people might not dig it as much as I did, where like it's got that obnoxiously like self-aware humor where like
you either love it or you hate it.
Where at one point Mr. McGregor and the Peter Rabbit are fighting, and they stop to fight and they look over expecting her to walk in and nothing's there, and they go, oh I fully expected you to walk in there, and then they continue fighting, and like that shit makes me laugh. Or like there's a bit earlier where he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't go off and like get into trouble." He's like, "No, that's my character flaw," and he starts to run off, and then he's like, "You come with me," and he's like, "Why would I go with you?" He's like, "That's your character flaw. I do the crazy thing, and then you help me do the crazy thing. You support me. That's your whole bit."
That's your flaw. Yeah, you can't say no to me.
You can't say no, and it's got a bunch of really weird needle drops. Like at one point it played, and they're all rewritten. Like there's a running gag where there's birds who sing pop songs that have been rewritten to be about Peter Rabbit. So at one point they sing "Steal My Sunshine," but it's written to be about Peter Rabbit for some reason. There's a bunch of them, and they're all equally weird. But no, I was impressed. I was surprised by how funny I thought this movie. I was like, I laughed. I enjoyed this. I thought for sure this was gonna be an eye roller, but it was pretty funny. Yeah. Margot Robbie is there. She's there as one of the little rabbits. There's a funny joke where the Peter Rabbit's got 3 little sisters, and I think they're supposed to be triplets, but I'm not sure. I missed that bit. But one of them is the older one, and she keeps like commanding authority because she's the oldest. She's like, "I'm the oldest. You have to do what I say." And then it gets to the end of the movie, and she's like, "Actually, I have a confession." Like, do you think she's dying? And she's like, "I have a confession to make.
I'm not actually the oldest.
I'm not actually the oldest. You were pretty, and our other sister was pretty, and you were really smart. I had nothing going for you, so Mom and Dad just said I was the oldest." And then it turns out that she's just got tomato on her. "Oh, she's got smashed tomato on me." It's like, we never spoke of this. Yeah, it's funny. It's pretty funny, slapsticky kind of humor. That I was like, I like this. I understand why this got a sequel.
Understand.
That's it. That's Peter Rabbit.
I am picking up what you're putting down.
Jordan, what's your final movie for the week?
My final movie for the week, because I after that garbage pile, I wanted to end on a good one, was Paddington 2. which I like Paddington Bear.
Paddington
It's always a
Dudes.
delight.
It's an absolute delight. That movie is everyone loves that movie for some reason. I don't know why. I've seen it once and I just recall being like it's all right. It's about as good as the first one, which is to say like inoffensive and all right.
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I mean, you got what's his name as the cook. I like the fact that he accidentally turns all of the prison uniforms pink, except for his. His is the one gray and black one, which is funny.
Of course.
What's his name? The guy who plays from Harry Potter.
I forget. Well, he's Moody. I can't remember what the actual actor's name is.
Yeah. Hold on.
He's like, he plays Mad-Eye Moody. I mean, he might also be Moody, but he plays Mad-Eye Moody. I forget what his name is.
Hugh Bonneville,
No,
I think is his name.
That's not it. I forget what his... Oh, it's gonna bug me.
I have to go to that cast list. Hold on. No, not him. Miss Bird, Mr. Samuel, Mr. Reginald Curry, Judy Brown, Jonathan J. Dogman. Let's see.
Probably gonna be easier to look up the Mad-Eye Moody actor. It is...
Probably.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, fuck it, we'll go.
Oh, I think I forgot to mention about Bambi. Did you know Bambi was based off of a book?
I did not.
I learned that. Hold on. I accidentally hit the wrong thing. Hold on. We can do this. Brendan Gleeson.
Yes, that's him.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah, he plays the cook. Yeah, no. This movie, Paddington is framed for stealing a book or something. It's a romp. It's silly. It's fun. He gets into mischief and trouble, good-natured mischief and trouble wherever he goes.
The bad guy isn't quite as upsetting because I think the bad guy in the first one wanted to like stuff him or something.
Yeah, the bad guy in the first one, it was a woman or whatever, a granddaughter of the someone, and she wanted to stuff him. This one was just that guy who was a burglary. He wanted to find treasure or something. Peter Capaldi is back again in this one. Again,
he's back
as one of the neighbors.
He's back again.
That doesn't like him.
No. Like him.
And I mean, yeah, clearly people really enjoyed it because budget $40 million. Box office $283.7 million.
It was quite a successful movie. There's a reason there's a third one and a fourth one, and I think they're making a TV show.
I don't think there's a fourth one yet.
They announced a fourth one, to my recollection.
I
believe they're also making a TV show based on this version of the character, but I could be wrong.
I have not heard that, but I could believe it. He's a likable enough character. I've always liked Paddington. I remember liking Paddington growing up.
He's the only reason why I like Marmalade, even though Marmalade is a lesser version of jam.
I don't think I ever particularly liked Marmalade, but what's funny is when you look up Paddington 2 on jam. Google,
that's right.
When you look up Paddington 2 on Google, there's a little thing that you can hit, which makes the page get splattered with marmalade.
That's funny. Marmalade is just jam. It's a less. I find it to be a little less sweet than like a strawberry jam, but. It's basically just jam that you put on toast.
It's a healthier jam.
Yeah, I think it's bitter. I've never liked marmalade, but I do like it.
Yeah,
Paddington. I will have the occasional bit of marmalade.
I will have to contrive a reason to watch Paddington 3, Lost in Peru.
Paddington 3
because I like Paddington.
All right. Is that it, Jordan? That's your last movie for the week.
That's my last movie for the week. It was fun. It was a fun one. I'd recommend it to people.
So, okay, my last movie of the week. It's okay. It's funny because this one for me for the longest time it's The Wild. It's a movie called The Wild, and for me, The Wild. Jordan, did I show you the poster? Have you heard of this movie?
I've seen the poster.
Yeah,
I've never watched the movie, but I've seen the poster.
The number one thing about this movie is that like it's the Madagascar knockoff. It's the point where Disney stopped, or the DreamWorks stopped ripping off Disney, and Disney started ripping off DreamWorks. That's my memory of it. I remember all the trailers just being like, this just looks like it's Madagascar. And when you read about the critical reception of it, that was the critical reception. This movie bombed horribly. It did very, very poorly at the box office. Nobody watched it because they all said it looked derivative. And one of the producers that bothered them because they were like, it's not though. And apparently, for one reason or another, I didn't read into it, but apparently there was some sort of weird corporate sleaze reason as to why this movie came out second and Madagascar came out first. But this movie is not really all that similar to Madagascar. That's my build-up to say that. This movie is very different from Madagascar.
I'm guessing it's a similar scenario to when there was that whole Bugs Life versus Ants kind of comparison.
Yeah. Had this movie come out first, they would have been like Madagascar's like the Wild. But they're not similar at all. This movie is basically okay. Kiefer Sutherland plays a lion who his young son is Beast Boy from Teen Titans, and he is constantly telling his son how he's this big strong hunter and how his son needs to roar like him and how he's this, when he was in the wild he was this hardened badass or whatever. And so the son and it's the thing of like when the humans go home, all the animals play hockey. So there's a big long scene of them playing hockey, and the son, the lion wants the son to show up, but the son doesn't show up or whatever. They get into a big fight where the son's like, I'm never gonna live up to you or whatever, and he winds up in a crate essentially that is gonna just shipping off animals to go re-release them in the wild, and he winds up getting trapped in one. And so Kiefer Sutherland, the lion, Richard Kind, is a snake. Who else was the cast here? Voice cast. Oh yeah, Jim Belushi is back for some reason as he's a squirrel. He was Hopper. Eddie Izzard is Nigel, and then we got William Shatner is the bad guy. And so they basically they leave the zoo to go find the son, and they end up commandeering a boat, and they wind up in Africa, a section of Africa which is being controlled by a gazelle played by William Shatner, who has gone absolutely insane because when he was a child, a koala stuffed animal fell from a plane and scared off a bunch of lions before he got eaten. So this has caused him to believe that buffalo need to become the dominant predators and eat lions. So he needs to eat, he's decided that he needs to eat a lion. And then there's a series of gazelles who are part of his cult, who are, one of which is played by Patrick Warburton. And it's about the lion saving his son. Does any of this sound like Madagascar to you?
I mean, it vaguely sounds like the second one, where they're in where they're in Africa, and right. It's the dad.
And in the movie, you find out that, in fact, that the big twist, the dad is not from the wild, because his name is like Samson the Wild. And they find out that he's, in fact, not from the wild, that he was in the circus, and his dad was abusive and got mad that he wouldn't roar, so like let him be sold off to the circus, or to the zoo. And then when he went to the zoo, he lied and said he was from the wild. But beyond that, and the movie ends, he saves the son, and they all go back to the zoo. That's the one thing I will say I respect about the Madagascar movies. They don't go back to the zoo at the end of that first movie. They don't go back to the zoo till like the third movie, and I respect that. This movie, it ends with them going back to the zoo. But yeah, I was like, this movie really isn't anything like Madagascar at all. But, and this is another twist, it looks like shit. For a Disney movie, it's badly animated. It's animated by, and that's why I have the, it's animated by a completely separate animation company that only made this movie. It's a company called Core. C-O-R-E. I don't know what that acronym is for. But they made this one movie, it bombed, and then they never used them again. And it's funny because this movie is it came out in like 2006. So it's in that dire sort of span of Disney movies where, I had a list. Hold on. I want to pull this up because you'll be like, oh yeah, that's why it bombed. But it's around that time when your movie came out, where it's like that dire 2D or 3D and bad 3D animated movies. But hold on, I just want to pull this up because you'll be like, oh yeah, I understand why this bombed. Wait 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, I understand why this bombed.
Oh yeah, okay. So this is where prior to this, why is it not in here?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it here.
Yes.
A little while, okay.
Oh, don't leave us hanging.
So these are the movies that lead up to it. Okay, Incredibles, November 5th, 2004. Pooh's Heffalump movie, February 11th, 2005. Valiant, a movie I guarantee you've never heard of. Chicken Little, and then The Wild. The next movie after this is Cars, which but then after this, that's when you get Meet the Robinsons, and that's when you get Bolt. So that's when they changed animation studio. So they got to make this one movie. Clearly they were trying to, because the thing I've discovered about Disney is they've constantly been trying to like get away from Pixar. Like clearly they don't want to be associated with Pixar because they went out of their way to create this separate animation studio that completely undercut Pixar. Because yeah, you've got like I say, Valiant, Chicken Little. I like Chicken Little, but that movie did not do well. Like that's when Disney and Home on the Range, like all those two Disney like mid 2000s Disney animated movies that nobody remembers.
Yeah. I don't know why Disney has such beef with Pixar, but yeah, they definitely.
But that's what was interesting. So this movie looks like it looks like not quite as bad as No More Than North, but it looks like a really cheap straight to DVD movie. Like it looks cheap.
Yeah, it definitely feels like one where if it came out today, it would be a streaming one. Like
Right?
it would come out on streaming.
Right? It's like all the money in this went to like the voice cast.
Or if you were back in the 90s, it gives me real straight to DVD vibes.
Like absolutely. It's got like I can't believe this released theatrically. Like nobody's heard of this.
I mean, to be fair,
this movie.
I said that about a few things that I watched this week where I was like, really, this got a theatrical release.
There were some surprises there, but yeah, this was like a Chicken Little. Chicken Little was people don't understand how when people like the Disney Renaissance. People don't understand. Like, yeah, Chicken Little was a bad time for Disney. Like, that was like they were in dire straits. Like,
Chicken Little. For whatever reason, every time you were saying Chicken Little, my brain was filling it in with Chicken Run, and I was like, Chicken Run. That's a very different animation style.
So leading up to this,
Chicken Little. I
mean, surely someone in the comments is gonna be like, "Oh, I've seen Pooh's," but I haven't seen Pooh's Heffalump movie. That was a massive. I know the Tigger movie was a huge success.
No, I was gonna say
a massive bomb.
The last Winnie the Pooh movie that I remember watching was the Tigger movie.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, The Incredibles is good, but like, yeah, you've got like. In this, you've got Brother Bear, which wasn't a massive success. Teacher's Pet, which was I'm pretty sure was a massive bomb. Home on the Range, which was definitely a massive bomb. Incredibles, which does well. Pooh, Valiant, which I guarantee we have. I mean, you'll have it.
Incredibles, which does well, but is Pixar.
Yeah. And you've got Valiant, which I'm pretty sure that's the Pigeon movie.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I don't recognize
the name. And then you got Chicken Little, and then The Wild, and then Cars. And Cars is a massive hit. And then after Cars, you've got Meet the Robinsons, which I'm pretty sure was also a bomb. And then Ratatouille, Enchanted, WALL-E. And then it's just a slew of hits after that. Like, this is that moment where, like, yeah, Disney was in a bad way here, and you can tell. It comes across in the product. It's just, I do believe that if this had come out before Madagascar, this probably would be remembered more fondly, but I guarantee you nobody remembers this movie.
I only remember it as being the one that the poster looks like Madagascar.
Yeah. I remember seeing the commercials for it and being like, "This just looks like Madagascar," and it's not. It's not like Madagascar, like even remotely.
I don't even remember the commercial. Well, okay, I just remember the poster.
I will say
like Madagascar,
like the lemurs, like King Julian and the William Shatner character in this are sort of similar in like they're kind of insane and they lead a cult of like fiendish like people who follow them like feverishly, whatever, like
Fanatic
thank you.
followers.
Yeah, they have like fanatic followers or whatever. So maybe that, but the plot is very different, like very different. Like there isn't a ton of them wandering around New York or escaping the zoo, and like I say, they go right back to the zoo at the end of the movie. So yeah, it's not as similar as people would have you, as the critics probably had. I do agree. Yeah, had this come out after Madagascar again, I think people would have been like DreamWorks once again ripping off Disney. But that's it.
It's not the worst one you watched this week.
No, that's still Fluke. It's still Fluke. Fluke was terrible. Fluke was
That's surprising.
about midway through that movie. I went, wow, yeah, this is a bad. It was like Matthew Modine's third terrible fucking monologue. I was like, this is bad. This is bad. It's maybe the second worst. Like it's not the best. Not the best. Okay, you know what? I never commit to this bit, but let's deal with best and worst. What was the best this week? Just for funsies.
Probably Paddington 2. No. Yeah. I mean, they're all of relative quality.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. They're all relative quality until Fluke, which is like the worst one. That one was just the worst.
Yeah, like for me, they're all fine. I like them all in relative quality of each other, except for Barnyard, which was bad,
Like if I had to be
very
like,
very bad.
if I had to be like,
If I had to pick my favorite, because that's better than saying which is the best. If I had to pick my favorite,
Doctor Dolittle too.
then I would probably say Paddington 2, but that's because I love Paddington.
If I had to be like a least worst, like if I was like, what's the worst and what's the least worst, or like the second worst, The Wild would probably be the second worst. Only because like I guarantee you, again, nobody remembers that movie. Nobody. Nobody remembers that movie. Anyway,
Second worst. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Maybe the Swan Princess, because it's just so generic.
yeah, it is very generic. But that's it. That's Talking Animals. Talking Animals. A talking cat. I was gonna do a talking cat at one point, and then I changed my mind.
Yeah, we might have to come back to this one because I feel like there is enough. There's enough more talking animal movies.
Is there enough animal movies where the animals don't talk that we could do an entire episode of that?
Let's put a pin in that, and we'll have to look into that.
But we have to talk about next week, and I actually can talk about next week because I'm not being stabbed in the mouth by a pepper. Next week is May the 4th. We already hinted at it. If you've been watching the show, it's Star Wars. May the 4th be with you. We're doing Star Wars. We actually get to do the show on May 4th, and I don't think he's confirmed yet. But Jake might be here. He might not. He might not. Who's to say? But we'll be here.
It's up in the air. It's Schrodinger's podcast. He currently both is and is not here.
Right. But the rule is, you're not allowed to. It's not. You can't be all of the. You can't do all the any of. It's non-obvious Star Wars stuff. So like you get like one or two.
Everybody gets one.
Because I have to do. I'm going to be doing Andor, and so, I'm going to do Rogue One. So I'm probably going to take 2. But you can't do like episode 1, 2, and 3. Is the point?
No, But I am doing episode 3.
You can't do like Revenge 4, 5, and 6.
I'm doing Revenge of the Sith.
You can like maybe do The Last Jedi, and then in your case, Revenge of the Sith. I'm probably gonna do Last Jedi and Rogue One, and Andor.
I'm definitely gonna do Revenge of the Sith.
But just to give like a sneak preview, because I've already this is kind of one of those rare times I've already kind of begun to pick out what I'm gonna do. But just to show you how obscure we're gonna get, we're gonna talk about the Ewok movies. At least one of them. We're gonna talk about...
I'm probably gonna watch the Droids animated show, and I think I might try and watch some of Ahsoka.
I'm watching Andor. I have some spicy things to say about Andor.
And I would like to rewatch the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Okay. I mean, if I do Andor, some of the Obi-Wan. I'm thinking about maybe Rebels, some of Rebels. I'm definitely probably gonna watch the Clone Wars movie, the animated movie, not the live action one. But yeah, that's the Caravan of Courage, the Ewok movie. I definitely want to do that because I've never seen that movie. I'm fascinated by it. But that's next week. That's Star Wars. We're gonna do Star Wars, and then in a rare, we know the future. The week after that, it's going to be something Marvel related because we're going to go out and watch the Thunderbolts. Because I hear the Thunderbolts is good, actually. Early reviews say that it's good, actually. So I want to watch that movie. And to be fair, I already wanted to watch that movie. So we're going to do a Marvel adjacent episode after that. But anyway, that's been the show. That's been the Spur of the Moment podcast. Jordan, where can they find you?
I do Minecraft Monday on Mondays on Twitch, ZethGore187.
It's a Minecraft on a Monday.
And I'm here on the weekends.
You're being very selfish right now. With your
You're being very selfish right now. Nobody asked you.
You're sneezing.
It's an involuntary response. Don't pay attention to it. Don't point it out.
With your sneezing. I'm on TikTok, Justin Spurr. The show's on TikTok, Spur of the Moment P. If you want to sponsor the show or pay us to sell your product, you can email me at itsjustin'sbusiness. If you want to be on the show, we have a Google form. I haven't checked in a while. But hey, if you fill it out, leave a comment and be like, hey, I filled out the Google form. I want to be on the show. You can join support us. We eat penny soup on Patreon if you want. $2 a month in Canadian, I think. Chuck in a buck. Helps the show. Go check out Arte Media. Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing something.
Discord.
You could join the Discord if you want. That's where we do the show, and you can leave helpful suggestions. Thank you for your comments as always. We love reading the comments even when they're mean. We have videos out 5 days a week. Like those videos. If you can't handle the show when it's full meaty 3 hours and it's meaty length and girth, I understand that. We have handy short form videos that come out 5 days a week of my favorite topics of the week that I pick out. They are about 5 to 10 minutes each. They are bite-sized, digestible versions of the podcast. You can watch. You can like. We have shorts coming out multiple times a day, all days. Like those. Leave us likes.
Like, share, subscribe.
Liking helps the videos perform really well. So if you
share, subscribe.
Just one like. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. We will see you next week with Star Wars Day.